So here's what's going on so far. Humanity has tried to clear something called the Tower of Trials, 79 times, to be exact. And every single attempt has ended in failure. Over 315,000 people have died trying to beat it. That's not just a number, it's an entire population gone. After all that, people just gave up. The general belief became that the tower can't be cleared. Then, out of nowhere, a warning appears across the world. Human extinction, 0 hours, 58 minutes, 33 seconds. Less than an hour before extinction. Nobody knows how or why, but it's official. The world is on a countdown. Cut to a guy in an office. Papers are everywhere. He's clearly panicking or desperate, going through documents, maybe looking for a solution or just trying to understand what's happening. The entire mood feels hopeless. At the same time, outside in the city, people start noticing the same message flashing on big screens. A woman holds her kids close, frozen. Everyone looks confused or scared. No one's screaming or running. It's more like shock. No one knows what to do. The countdown ticks on. 58 minutes and 32 seconds. We then see people reading messages online. You can tell the internet is buzzing, but it's all despair. To be fair, there were too many casualties. All the big guilds gave up too. There aren't any challengers left anymore. Guess we got about an hour before the world ends. At this point, even the strongest, most organized groups have given up. Everyone's out of options. And with no one left to try, the end feels inevitable. Just when everyone thought it was over, the screen flashes. Tower of Trials, 48th floor. In the middle of the crumbling arena, surrounded by broken pillars and scorched ruins, a new presence appears. People online start reacting. Raccoon Man 4. Good job to everybody up until now. It sounds like people are giving up, accepting defeat. But then, Climber 123, hold on. A bright light flashes. A single figure steps onto the battlefield. A challenger. A challenger has appeared on the 48th floor, the realm of the Red Dragon Diathia. Everyone is stunned. Climber 123. There's still a challenger. The chat explodes. I'm dead serious. Wow, for real? At this time? Arcane shift forward flash backward. It's that guy that keeps saying it this time. I'm confiscating your keyboard for an hour. And then we see him, a man dressed in black, standing tall with his sword in hand, his face covered in shadows, his aura glowing with confidence. This isn't just anyone. Someone is still climbing the tower. Someone hasn't given up. And just like that, the world has a sliver of hope again. The challenger stands alone on the 48th floor. The air grows heavy. Flames swirl. And then it appears. The massive head of a dragon lowers from the shadows, smoke curling from its jaws. Its scales are dark like obsidian, its presence enough to shake the ground. Then, with a deafening crash, the Red Dragon Diathia lands in front of the challenger. Towering, terrifying, and fully awake. The dragon speaks. You humans do not know how to give up. You've returned once more after losing so many people. But the challenger doesn't flinch. He answers calmly. Well, I had some preparation to do to make a cooked lizard. But still, I made it in time. Diathia's burning eyes narrow. Human, do you not know that death, however equal it may be, can be more painful than the other? As he speaks, the dragon raises a glowing ball of fire in its claw. The air around it begins to warp from the heat. This isn't just another challenger. And this isn't just another floor. What comes next is war. As the red dragon roars with fire and fury, the challenger shows no fear. He speaks coldly. Well, a conversation with such a puny being wouldn't matter anyway. And just like that, he slams his dagger into the ground. Magic chains erupt from glowing symbols, binding his own legs first, an unexpected move. But that was just the beginning. With blazing energy, he launches forward, directly at Diathia. What an anticlimactic end. He strikes with full force, sending a shockwave across the room as the dragon's head is smashed into the floor. But Diathia isn't down for long. With a growl, the dragon glares. A physical attack, right after a bind? Isn't that a little too predictable? Clearly, this beast isn't just strong, it's smart. The dragon prepares to retaliate. but suddenly freezes. Why you? The challenger calmly raises his hand. I can tell what you're about to do just by looking at your hand movements. He's not just strong. He's fast, calculated, unshaken, and the dragon is finally beginning to realize it's in trouble. The red dragon Diathea stares in disbelief. Did he destroy my skill within those few seconds? The dragon grits its teeth, eyes blazing. This human is no ordinary challenger. Not bad, human. However, you've only chosen to die in a more painful way. With that, Diathea unleashes a devastating flame blast, erupting from its mouth like a beam of destruction. The flames tear through the battlefield, lighting everything in its path on fire. Stone pillars shatter, the ground quakes, and the air fills with smoke and sparks. But then, a flash. A figure is launched high into the sky, barely visible among the chaos. It's the challenger, flying upward from the sheer force of the explosion. He's still alive, and the battle is far from over. The protagonist is launched into the air by the red dragon's previous attack, but instead of panicking, he prepares for a counter. Midair, he spins with precision, holding his glowing purple dagger tightly. With calculated movement, he dives straight down like a missile, aiming directly at the dragon. In a single, perfectly executed strike, he drives the dagger into the dragon's head, right between its eyes. The attack causes a massive surge of energy to explode on impact, forcing the dragon to reel back in agony, howling. Qua! This is one of the few times the dragon has shown real pain since the fight began. The red dragon Diathea crashes to the ground, visibly damaged and furious. You impudent, it snarls. But it's not just hurt, it's humiliated. Furious beyond control, it roars out. I will never allow you to leave this place alive. And with that, it unleashes its most powerful technique. Red Dragon Diathea uses aerial breath. The entire dungeon is set ablaze. The flames are everywhere, covering the entire area. There's no safe spot left. Despite the overwhelming flames and destruction, the protagonist stands calm and still. He isn't running. He isn't dodging. Although this whole dungeon is under the area of its breath, there's no reason for me to dodge it. He raises his hand as glowing symbols and digital lights begin to form. His hand glows with intricate patterns, as if unlocking some ancient code or system. He activates a powerful ability, reading the memory of the world. It's clear now, this isn't just a fight of strength. The protagonist is tapping into something deeper, something that transcends time or battle tactics. He's accessing the world's stored memory, likely to reveal secrets, weaknesses, or even rewrite fate. Though not fully visualized here, the chapter ends with the clear implication that something game-changing is about to happen. While the red dragon relies on brute strength and flames, the protagonist is fighting with insight, knowledge, and precision. The next move could decide everything. As the battle reaches a turning point, a sudden system message appears. An infinite library filled with records of skills is forming. This isn't just another stat update. It means the protagonist has unlocked something special, something no one else ever has. A living database of every skill ever used, every technique ever recorded, across all time, all battles, and all dimensions. From now on, he won't just learn skills. He'll analyze them, refine them, and maybe even create new ones. It's no longer about who's stronger. It's about who understands the system better. And right now, he's the one writing the manual. After unlocking the memory of the world and forming the infinite skill library, he doesn't hesitate. He steps forward, calm, unshaken, and raises his hand as flames swirl in his palm. Then he speaks just one line. I'll bring out hellfire. The temperature spikes. The very air around him distorts. This isn't just magic. This is something ancient, something forbidden. The kind of flame that doesn't just burn flesh. It devours everything, soul, body, and will. And the one standing in front of him, the red dragon Diathea, is about to face it head-on. Right after summoning hellfire, he draws out another power. And black tears. A dark, glowing blade appears in his hand, pulsing with energy. The atmosphere shifts instantly. Two powerful skills, ready to strike. The real fight is just beginning. The red dragon roars in anger. Foolish human, did you really think a puny skill like that could hurt me? Standing tall, the dragon mocks him. You'll never kill me with something like that. But the challenger doesn't flinch, still holding black tears, still calm. The challenger tightens his grip, shadows wrapping around his blade. I'll never be able to win with this level. The close-up here looks sharp, the glow, the tension, his eyes locked in. That's why I'll be making this. He's about to unlock something new, stronger, deadlier. He brings his hands together and says it clearly. Hellfire and black tears. The colors pop here, dark purples and reds swirling as power builds between his palms. He's not backing down. He's combining both skills for something big. He shouts out, a combination of these two skills. Hellfire and black tears merge, creating a massive swirling blast. The colors are intense, bright gold and deep purple mixing into pure destruction. This attack isn't normal. It's something new and way stronger. A system message appears. Skill Hellfire, S, and Skill Black Tears, S, are being combined together. It's official now. The fusion is in progress. Two S-rank skills merging into one. Something big is coming. The fusion is complete. The energy swirls violently, purple and gold mixing together in a storm of raw power. A skill on the next level. It's no longer just Hellfire or Black Tears. It's something beyond both. A skill that can cleave even a dragon. Right after that, the system confirms it. The combination was successful. It's done. The new skill is real, and it's ready to be used. The fusion explodes into a swirling storm of energy, dark, chaotic, and unstoppable. The system message appears. You've gained the breath of the Void Dragon Ether Ion SSS, an SSS-ranked skill, the kind that changes the entire fight. The red dragon freezes. That's the strongest breath of the ancient dragon Ether Ion. A massive, dark figure appears behind the attack. Ether Ion itself. The system confirms it. The ancient dragon Ether Ion. Shocked, the dragon shouts. How could a mere human use that? Who are you? Surrounded by lightning and swirling energy, he finally answers. Calmly, with a slight smirk, he says, Kong Jin Hyuk. Now the dragon knows his name. The one who just rewrote the rules of this fight. And behind that power is someone who's been through too much. Someone who's been worn out too much. There's pain behind the strength. A story we haven't fully seen yet. With a cold, confident look in his eyes, he speaks. And this is not my first time killing you. No fear. No hesitation. Just pure dominance. Not just some lucky player. Not a rookie. A pro. Someone who's been through it all and knows exactly how to finish it. A trash game. That's how people saw it. A game that wasn't fun, completely unbalanced, and nearly impossible to enjoy. Most gave up on it. But not him. Whether it's poor updates, lazy devs, or just insane difficulty. That's what made it a trash game. Even the player sighs and mutters. Of a trash game. But sometimes, the worst games create the strongest players. A towering structure rises under a blood-red sky. This is no ordinary game. The virtual reality game, Tower of Trials, is in this category. A brutal, unforgiving game, the kind only a few dare to keep playing. When Tower of Trials was released, Korean gamers did what they always do best. They dove headfirst into the grind. Before the developers even knew what hit them, players were already charting paths, pushing limits, and breaking mechanics. Day and night, no rest. 365 days a year, they gave it their all, chasing victory in a game designed to break them. But after 3 relentless years, reality started to sink in. No matter how skilled the players were, no matter how hard they pushed, they couldn't beat it. Towering bosses, brutal traps, even low-level monsters were deadly. The truth became clear. Tower of Trials was an unbeatable game. In front of the final gate stands a being wrapped in divine power and deathly silence. The Gate Guardian. with armor like a cathedral and wings like shadowed fire. He's more than a boss, he's a judgment. No challenger has ever bested him. He's practically invincible, one of the tower's cruelest trials. The Arctic floor, with temperatures plunging to minus 60 degrees Celsius. Even the strongest warriors freeze to death within an hour. No amount of strength can survive the cold. Before her sprawled a labyrinth, a monstrous maze spanning over 10,000 square kilometers. No map, no guide, no end in sight. Each wrong turn meant death, and she had just stepped inside. This game wasn't made to entertain. It was pure frustration wrapped in code, with no mercy, no balance, and no hope of progress. It broke spirits more than it built them. And finally, F*** this trash game. The controller flew. As frustration piled up and players gave up, the once hyped game lost its shine. The numbers spoke clearly. Tower of Trials was fading fast. Afterwards, the game started declining. The fall was steep. Players vanished. The community fell silent, and hope shattered like glass. To be exact, the game almost went under. But even as the world turned away, a few remained. There were still pros. Tireless, relentless, obsessed, who didn't give up on conquering this impossibly difficult game. Gasping for air, his breath ragged and shallow, he pushed through the pain again. No cheers, no applause, just sweat, grit, and the crushing silence of the tower. With a thunderous shockwave, the impossible was finally achieved. After countless deaths, resets, and agonizing failures, one player, only one, broke through the 50th floor. Collision, you have conquered floor 50. The message echoed like a divine trumpet. For the first time in the game's brutal history, someone had cleared the tower trials. The silence that followed, that was the world holding its breath. His breath ragged, his body trembling, Kong Jin-hyuk stared in disbelief. Is this for real? The words escaped him, not in fear, but in awe. After years of blood, sweat, and digital torment, he had finally broken through the impossible. The tower that no one could conquer had fallen before his blade. And in that moment, it wasn't about stats, rankings, or rewards. It was simply fun. For the first time in forever, the thrill of the game had returned. The thrill didn't lie in flashy skills or overpowered stats. It was the sense of accomplishment, earned through research, through grit, through failure. Every fall, every retry, he learned, adapted, and mastered the unknown paths of the tower, until those impossible stages felt like muscle memory. He crushed monsters with precision, snatched treasures once deemed unreachable, and in his eyes there was no fear, only focus, determination, victory. This wasn't just a game anymore. It was his domain. It wasn't just the thrill of the fight, or the shine of loot at the end of every hard-fought stage. It was the obsession, the dedication, the burning purpose that made him rise after every defeat. All the blood, sweat, and relentless grinding. It was worth it, because for him, conquering this game wasn't a pastime. It was a mission, one he devoted 11 whole years of his life to. No regrets, just resolve. Alone, in the silence of the final chamber, he stood victorious. The last floor, cleared. The game everyone gave up on. He finished it. No crowd, no applause, no camera, just the echo of his own breath and a soft laugh. Maybe I should have streamed this. A joke whispered into the ruins, by the only one crazy enough to endure it all. After years of obsession, frustration, and silence, he finally cleared the unbeatable game. No fame, no recognition, just a glowing cube in his palm and an idea. Maybe I should upload this on YouTube. A trash game, sure, but what's one more click in a world addicted to failure? The thought lingered, half serious. But in that quiet moment, the first ember of a new journey was lit. Just as the silence settled and the rush of victory faded, a soft chime echoed in the void. Floating before him, an envelope shimmering in blue light. His brows furrowed, not in fear, but curiosity. The game was supposed to be over, so why was something new beginning? A chime echoed, piercing the silence. A familiar system message unfolded before his eyes. "Thank you for playing our game until now." He blinked. Was that a farewell? Before he could process it, another message lit up. "A reboot update is planned to happen in 12 hours. Please continue to enjoy the game after the update." A reboot? A complete reset of the tower? A second chance? For most, this would mean chaos. But for Kong Jin-hyuk, it meant opportunity. And this time, he was going to climb higher than ever before. As Kong Jin-hyuk stared at the glowing system window, a rare smirk tugged at his lips. This is unexpected. They're doing a reboot update. His mind, always calculating, began spinning gears. What did they discover? Some oil field in the middle of a digital wasteland. He chuckled inwardly. The Tower of Trials, long forgotten by the world, suddenly getting a second wind? To others, it was a confusing update. But to him, it was the ultimate cheat code. A full reset, a fresh start, and only he knew how to break it from the very beginning. Kong Jin-hyuk wasn't just logging back in. He was preparing to dominate. Kong Jin-hyuk stood amidst broken stone, arms folded, eyes narrowing at the glowing screen. This really makes no sense. The Tower of Trials, a forgotten, soul-crushing game, had suddenly returned. And with it, a full system reboot. This game shouldn't be profitable for them. He leaned back against the fractured ruins, mind racing through possibilities. It wasn't just a random update. Oh well, they probably have their own thoughts about doing something like this. But while the developers might be plotting their mysterious comeback, they weren't the only ones with a plan. Because Kong Jin-hyuk wasn't just any returning player. He was the one who had already cleared the game. And this time, he was ready to break it wide open from day one. The game is back, but now it's his playground. Even as news of the game's reboot echoed through the community, Kong Jin-hyuk made his decision clear. Even if this game is getting a reboot update, I don't intend on playing this game anymore. His hands moved calmly, unhooking the headset, an object that had long been an extension of himself. It wasn't just a game he was turning away from. It was the life he'd built around it. And I plan on quitting my job as a streamer and a YouTuber, which I have continued up until today. The glow of the monitor dimmed, but behind his eyes, something else sparked. Was it really over? Or was this just the calm before the storm? Video camera 1 chapter ends, but the tower has a way of pulling people back in. As moonlight slipped through the window bars, Kong Jin-hyuk stood silently, fingers lightly tapping the cool metal. His expression was calm, borderline nostalgic, but his eyes were sharp, carrying the weight of hard-won wisdom. People used to tell me I should become a professional fighter. His lips curled into a faint smirk, not of pride, but practicality. Strength was once everything to him, but time had changed the equation. But right now, money is more important than fighting. A fighter's instincts, forged through blood and battle, now face the real-world boss, survival. And in this new stage, the strongest skill wasn't combat. It was knowing when to pivot. He didn't stop being a warrior. He just changed the battlefield. Under the serene glow of a full moon, the world lay still. The city slumbered, unaware that something far greater than dreams stirred beneath its quiet surface. From the rooftop of a modest apartment complex, the night sky stretched endlessly above, stars twinkling like ancient witnesses. The soft hum of life inside the building contrasted with the heavy silence outside. But in one of those rooms, lit like any other, sat a man no longer ordinary. While the world rested, he calculated. While others dreamed, he prepared. This peaceful night was the calm before the storm. For beneath that moonlight, destiny waited to be challenged once more. The screen flickers to life, an all-too-familiar glow in a quiet room. It's the start of another casual stream. Mobile phone live chat, 3 minutes and 35 seconds. Messages begin flooding in, eager, familiar, and warm. J77. Jinha. Jinha. It means Gene High. Eaglol. What's up today? You're early. 20 viewers. Not much by global standards, but to him, it was enough. This wasn't just a stream. It was a window, his connection to a world that still believed, still supported, and still smiled with him. And in this fleeting digital moment, Jinha found a sliver of peace in a life filled with battle plans and broken dreams. A burst of laughter fills the room as the camera rolls and Kong Jin Hyuk leans back, chopsticks in hand, clearly enjoying himself. Plates of delicious food are stacked on the table in front of him. Kimchi, ribs, noodles, and more, enough to make anyone watching instantly hungry. Live chat explodes. Look at all the food he has. You're the best mukbang streamer. Better than your game streams. Eat before you leap. Even the puns come rolling in. But this isn't just a dinner. It's content. It's business. And for Jin Hyuk, it's survival. He smiles genuinely. This is easy. Fighting dragons? Freezing towers? Not so much. But being the center of attention, even for a mukbang stream. That's where Kong Jin Hyuk shines. The screen dims. The cheerful energy from the feast is gone. Jin Hyuk leans forward, the usual brightness in his expression replaced by a serious calm. Shadows gently conceal his eyes. His lips tighten for a second, then part. Hey guys, I have something I need to tell you. Silence. No chat spam. No emojis. No sound effects. Just tension. The kind of moment that makes thousands of viewers freeze in place, waiting. Was this the end of his stream? A personal truth? Or the beginning of something far bigger than anyone expected? This moment marks a shift from lighthearted survival to something deeper, something real. A change is coming. As Kong Jin Hyuk prepares to share his truth, the chat explodes. Not with support, but with sarcasm. Why are you talking like that all of a sudden? Don't tell me you're getting married or something. Boring. The flood of dismissive comments stings more than expected. He stares at the screen. His mouth opens, but no words come out, just a pause. A single, quiet ellipsis. This isn't the response he hoped for. Not when he was finally about to say something real. And yet, maybe that's exactly why it matters now. The moment stretches, heavy, awkward, and sincere. Jin Hyuk's silence says more than any words could. After a tense silence, an overwhelming mockery from the live chat, Kong Jin Hyuk throws on his signature grin like a mask. Nah, I just want to change up the way I talked as a joke. He laughs it off, hands gesturing loosely, pretending nothing ever happened. But behind that exaggerated smile and playful tone, there's a clear dodge, a deflection, a step back into the role of the entertainer, where it's safe. The panel's art style, with its comedic exaggeration and minimalist shading, perfectly matches Jin Hyuk's facade. It's light, almost cartoonish, ironically masking the emotional weight lingering just beneath. He's not ready to open up. Not yet. So for now, the show must go on. As the sun sets in hues of quiet resignation, Kong Jin Hyuk downs his drink in a single motion. Sharp, casual, but heavy. His thoughts are blunt. I should probably just post an announcement about me quitting tomorrow. No drama. No explanation. Just a quiet conclusion to a long, exhausting fight that no one else could see. The empty bottles on the table, one, then two, then more, say everything his words don't. The fade between frames reflects his sinking momentum. Slowly, quietly. Giving up isn't about emotion. It's fatigue. It's reality. The panel's calm, muted tone, and simple composition reinforce the silence before the storm. One last drink before walking away. Or before diving in one last time. The table still holds the evidence. 3 bottles, carelessly abandoned, glowing under the soft morning light. The night was long, and the decision even heavier. Cut to Kong Jin Hyuk sprawled across the bed. Disheveled, half buried in blankets, eyes barely open. Ugh. A single groan sums up his mood, part hangover, part dread. This isn't just physical exhaustion. It's the weight of everything he tried to walk away from the night before. But the world didn't end while he slept, and neither did the game. The panel is calm, yet tells of unrest. A brief pause before something reawakens. Because when a pro gets tired, they rest. But they don't quit. Kong Jin Hyuk clutches his throbbing forehead. The hangover from last night's soul-searching drink session still pounding like a drumbeat. His hoodie hangs slightly off one shoulder, a reflection of his mental state. half ready to quit, half still stubbornly in the game. With a groan, he mutters, "Damn my head," but even that pain doesn't drown out the nagging thought in the back of his mind. He straightens slightly, eyes flickering with resolve. I should probably upload my Tower of Trials, clear video. It's not pride. It's routine. Even when he wants to walk away, he still moves like a pro, because part of him knows that video could shake the world. Kong Jin-hyuk reaches out, casually pressing the power button on his PC tower. Click. The fans begin to whirl. The system lights blink to life. But then, something odd happens. His screen doesn't boot up. Instead, his eyes narrow. A strange, unfamiliar hum vibrates from the tower. His instincts, honed from years of grinding the toughest dungeons, tingle. Something's wrong. This isn't just a computer startup. Something bigger is awakening, and it's not part of any game. As Kong Jin-hyuk stares at the screen, his eyes widen in disbelief. The live broadcast reads, "The Tower of Trials actually became reality. Over 331,000 people are watching." The iconic dark spire of the tower looms on screen. Not in pixels, not in code, but in the real world. This isn't a drill. The impossible has happened. The game he knew, the one everyone gave up on, has broken the boundary between virtual and reality. And now, everything is about to change. As Kong Jin-hyuk processes the unbelievable message on his screen, his expression shifts to shock and disbelief. The Tower of Trials became reality? The once dismissed virtual game, a nightmare of impossible levels and unforgiving mechanics, is now no longer just pixels and code. Below, his cursor hovers over a glowing Enter button, radiating with significance. It's no longer just a command, it's a choice. To witness or to act. Meanwhile, chaos erupts in the real world. Crowds gather outside a massive tower that has suddenly manifested in the heart of the city. It's colossal, otherworldly, and impossible to ignore. Live streams broadcast it to millions, disbelief echoing in real-time chat. Wow, can you guys see that? You're watching this, right? The tower has emerged, and it's calling. These panels continues to unfold through a live stream. A streamer, visibly surprised, shares that he only found out about the Tower of Trials incident through a viewer named Melon Watermelon. He reveals to his audience that the mysterious tower appearing in real life is from an old game, released 11 years ago. Just as the shock settles in, the sky begins to turn blood red. The mood of the stream quickly shifts from curiosity to panic. The viewers flood the chat, expressing disbelief and fear. The streamer, caught mid-sentence, is interrupted by the eerie transformation of the sky. The protagonist stands frozen in shock. A sense of disbelief washes over him as he sees the ominous sign, an unmistakable signal from the Tower of Trials. It's something he remembers vividly from the game, but now it's happening in the real world. His thoughts race. How could this be? This is the sign of beginnings in the Tower of Trials. As he tries to grasp the situation, a glowing blue notification appears in front of him, hovering midair like a holographic interface straight out of a game. It reads, "Tower of Trials Reboot Version. First update has been completed." Visibly unsettled, he mutters, "What is this?" The entire world is suddenly alerted by a mysterious system notification. "Everyone, please clear the next floor of the tower within 90 days. Panic spreads quickly. In city streets and dark alleys alike, people are confronted with glowing blue messages they cannot dismiss. Shock and confusion ripple through the crowd as the system continues. If you fail. But the sentence is left ominously hanging. This event marks the moment the Tower of Trials merges with reality. No longer just a game. It is now a survival challenge for all of humanity. Everyone must now become a player or perish. As the warning echoed across the world, panic set in. Families huddled in fear, staring at the glowing messages hovering in the air. "Everyone, please clear the next floor of the tower within 90 days. Mothers held their children closer. Strangers froze in the streets, trying to understand the impossible situation. The message was clear. Failure meant consequences for all of humanity. Meanwhile, somewhere else, the sound of a chair crashing to the floor echoed in a small apartment. Someone had just stood up in haste, shaken by the looming threat. Reality had changed, and there was no turning back. The protagonist stands in a dimly lit room, facing a glowing blue message suspended in midair. The calm of the scene is broken by the grave content of the message. As he reads it, a look of shock spreads across his face. The screen clearly spells out the consequence: will perish. The message confirms the terrifying reality. If humanity fails to clear the next floor of the tower within the 90-day limit, they will be completely wiped out. The protagonist realizes that the situation is no longer virtual. The game he once played has merged with reality, and the fate of the world now rests on the Tower of Trials. The reboot update for the Tower of Trials is now complete. Players across the world are confronted with this new reality, and while initial shock remains, people begin to accept the truth. They are part of the game now. The visuals focus on an empty gaming room, screens still glowing, a chair slightly shaking, suggesting the player has already moved to face what lies ahead. The system message states that humanity's acceptance of the situation has rapidly increased, signaling that the game world has now become a part of everyone's reality. Kong Jin-hyuk stands silently under a moonlit sky, a bead of sweat sliding down his face. The weight of what he just learned hangs heavily on his mind. The Tower of Trials, once just a brutal game he mastered, is now part of the real world. Overwhelmed, he mutters to himself that he needs to cool his head off. As he throws on his jacket, determination replaces doubt. If the Tower of Trials has truly become reality, then there's no time to sit still and be overwhelmed. With firm resolve, Jin-hyuk acknowledges he must act fast. He can't afford to waste a single moment anymore. The protagonist bolts through the hallway with urgency written across his face. He knows exactly where he needs to go, to the place that holds the key item that could change everything. There's no time to waste. As he sprints down the stairwell, the sound of his footsteps echo through the walls. In his mind, the weight of the world's possible end presses heavily. Yet despite the looming threat, he can't help but question why something inside him feels so alive right now. Ask ChatGPT. As Kong Jin-hyuk makes a daring leap down the stairs, adrenaline surges through him. He's fully aware that the world stands on the edge of chaos. Yet his heart pounds not with fear, but with a strange thrill. The looming crisis, the impossible odds, none of it deters him. Instead, it fuels him. Meanwhile, the city is alive with uncertainty. In Central City, people gather in droves, their eyes fixed on the tower that has suddenly become a real and terrifying fixture in their skyline. Panic brews in the air, but amidst the chaos, Jin-hyuk races toward his destination with determined purpose. The chaos begins to ripple through the city. A man, drenched in anxiety, clutches his phone tightly while shouting in panic, "What's the fastest train to Busan?" The crowd around him is frantic, mirroring his fear. Everyone is desperate to find a way out as the looming threat of the tower grows real. Panic escalates. Another man, wearing a cap and yellow jacket, yells, "Fuck! Not even Busan's gonna cut it. We need to get out of Korea." The fear spreads as another voice adds, "Yeah, we need to go to another country to survive." The atmosphere is filled with dread as ordinary citizens begin to realize this isn't just a national crisis, it's a global one. As he throws on his jacket, determination replaces doubt. If the Tower of Trials has truly become reality, then there's no time to sit still and be overwhelmed. With firm resolve, Jin-hyuk acknowledges he must act fast. He can't afford to waste a single moment anymore. The view descends into a quiet subway entrance, marked with glowing embers in the air, a stark contrast to the chaos and panic outside. The emptiness below carries an eerie sense of stillness, as if waiting for something or someone. Standing at the edge of the stairs, the protagonist steels himself with resolve. Despite the uncertainty that lies ahead, he knows this is not the moment for hesitation. It's not the time to run, but to move forward boldly into the unknown. With determination in his eyes, he prepares to charge into the Tower of Trials. As the protagonist descends deeper into the stairwell, his thoughts are focused and sharp. He recalls the classification of this location by the Korean server. It's marked as an external zone. Not every place has such a designation. Only about 30 exist across the entire country. He's here because this particular zone is the one located closest to him. Reaching the entrance, he finds himself before this central underground strip mall. It's an unexpected location for something so critical, but makes sense in the context of the Tower of Trials. As he steps in, he is greeted by a strange serenity, a large fountain surrounded by classical statues. The area is quiet, too quiet, almost like a waiting room before a storm. Yet he knows this is the place where things are about to change. The place Kang Jin-hyuk has reached is filled with others like him, players who had once experienced the Tower of Trials. This area seems to be a designated gathering point for those who had previously reached the early stages of the game. Everyone around him is tense, silently glaring at each other, aware that competition or conflict may arise at any moment. Jin-hyuk, however, understands their anxiety. After all, only those who survive will get the chance to climb the tower and live. The protagonist reflects on the upcoming appearance of a rare item, noting that it's limited in quantity. This realization creates an underlying tension. Not everyone present will get a chance to obtain it. The competition is fierce, and the pressure is mounting. Someone suddenly addresses Kang Jin-hyuk by name, catching him off guard. The startled expression on his face shows that he wasn't expecting to be recognized. The moment suggests a possible confrontation or challenge, hinting that his reputation may precede him in this high-stakes scenario. As Kang Jin-hyuk turns around, he's greeted by a man wearing a sly grin. The man confirms his identity, expressing a mix of surprise and amusement at seeing him here. He mocks Kang, reminding him that he used to play the Tower of Trials non-stop, locked in his room all day. The air is tense, but there's no mistaking the familiarity and challenge in his tone. The man reveals himself to be Lee Jong-soo, a partnered streamer on Paprika TV and a prominent YouTuber with over 500,000 subscribers. With a confident pose and a flashy smile, he introduces his identity to viewers and nearby competitors alike. He's not just a familiar face. He's a well-known influencer with a huge following, and his presence in this moment hints at high stakes and fierce competition ahead. Kang Jin-hyuk recognizes Lee Jong-soo, a popular streamer and CEO of the company Jin-hyuk was once part of. Their unexpected encounter brings back memories of Jin-hyuk's past affiliations and the time he spent in isolation, immersed in the game. Jin-hyuk sarcastically remarks about Jong-soo's streaming schedule, pointing out the absurdity of continuing normal activities when the world is facing chaos. The tension between their past connection and the current situation begins to surface. Jong-soo casually brushes off the suggestion, implying that streaming is pointless now. His attitude contrasts with the seriousness of the situation, showing he may not fully grasp the danger therein. As Kang Jin-hyuk walks alongside Lee Jong-soo, the popular streamer tries to strike up a friendly conversation, asking what floor of the game he had reached. He suggests they share secrets, using their past as co-workers to build camaraderie. But his attempt at casual bonding feels disingenuous. Kang Jin-hyuk, however, is taken aback by the word co-workers. The memory of how things truly were between them in the past clearly doesn't match Jong-soo's rosy framing. The word hits him with a sense of bitter irony. Was that really what they were? Kang Jin-hyuk reflects on the grim truth about his former employer. The company lured many aspiring streamers with dreams of success, only to trap them in unfair, exploitative contracts that bled them financially the more they streamed. These slave contracts became a prison for many content creators who couldn't afford to stop streaming, yet suffered more the longer they kept going. Even when these streamers tried to speak out, their voices were swiftly crushed by the company's army of powerful lawyers. The legal might of the corporation ensured that any opposition or criticism was buried, leaving the victims powerless and their stories unheard. A hand lands on Kang Jin-hyuk's shoulder. The man behind him acknowledges his talent, calling him a great gamer and complimenting his mukbang streams. Jin Hyuk stands silently, his expression unreadable as the man tries to build rapport. The man makes his real pitch. He smiles and offers to rewrite Jin Hyuk's contract, promising better terms and a fresh start. It's a tempting deal, meant to pull Jin Hyuk back into the fold under the guise of fairness. Kang Jin Hyuk speaks the name Lee Jong-soo with a weight that hangs heavily in the air. This isn't just recognition. It's layered with history, tension, and unresolved bitterness. As Lee's hand rests on Jin Hyuk's shoulder, the atmosphere becomes charged, hinting at betrayal, resentment, and the acknowledgement of a shifting balance of power. The world they once knew is no longer the same. A bold declaration floods the screen. The world has changed. It's not metaphorical. Everything about reality has been altered, warped by the rise of the Tower of Trials. Rules, order, and expectations are erased in the face of a new reality where strength, knowledge, and adaptability dictate survival. Kang Jin Hyuk unleashes his bottled-up rage with a brutal headbutt, slamming it directly into Lee Jong-soo's face. The sudden impact comes without hesitation, his glare sharp and voice filled with venom as he snarls, "Don't talk to me like you're my friend, you mother ******. There's no restraint, no mercy, only years of resentment exploding in a single, violent moment. Two teeth fly out, tumbling through the air. A splash of blood stains the ground, a silent confirmation of the hit's power. There's no room left for pretense. The line has been drawn, and Kang Jin Hyuk has made it clear. This isn't a reunion. It's a reckoning. As Kang Jin Hyuk stands before the man he once knew, he suppresses his fury with clenched fists and a darkened glare. The past, once buried, rushes back with blinding force. Then, in a blur of motion, Jin Hyuk slams his head into Lee Jong-soo's face. Teeth shatter, blood sprays, and the smugness vanishes instantly from Jong-soo's expression. Jong-soo stumbles back, groaning in pain as blood drips from his nose and mouth. His hand trembles as it tries to stop the bleeding. The pain is nothing compared to the humiliation. Jin Hyuk towers over him, fists unclenched, a calm smirk curling at his lips. He looks down with satisfaction and says only one thing. That felt great. Kang Jin Hyuk, standing over his defeated adversary, felt a calm, yet alert presence settle over him. With the fight behind him and the crowd still on edge, he glanced off to the side, sensing that the crucial moment was nearing. He turned his attention toward the fountain at the center of the underground strip mall, the designated point where the item would appear. The mystical energy shimmered in the air, and faint glows started to pulse from the water, signaling that the legendary item was about to manifest. Statues loomed like silent witnesses around the chamber, and the atmosphere grew dense with tension. Every player present knew the item was coming, and only a few would claim it. As the fountain's waters begin to ripple, the atmosphere turns tense. The surface churns with an unnatural energy, signaling that something is about to emerge from within. All eyes are drawn to the pool, breaths held in anticipation. Suddenly, the water begins to bubble more violently. The force growing beneath the surface is no longer subtle. Whatever is coming is powerful. The tension reaches its peak, and the entire room braces for the appearance of the long-awaited item. As the waters of the divine fountain began to tremble, the surface bubbled and rippled with strange energy. A surge of magical power burst forth with a radiant glow, casting blinding light through the entire underground strip mall. Something was emerging from within, a long-awaited item of immense importance. A tremendous burst of light crashes down, erupting from the heavens as though the world itself is shattering. The surge of raw energy rips through space, forming a vertical line of divine force that strikes the ground with deafening power. This isn't just a phenomenon, it's a declaration. Something is descending. As the blinding pillar settles, it crashes into the environment with godlike force, striking through trees and ground alike. Everything in its path is split, carved by the weight of the descending object. and amidst the destruction, it begins to form something ancient, something powerful. From that very impact point, the surroundings shift. Trees bend under pressure, their roots cracking as they're displaced. And then, something begins to emerge. A colossal tree bursts from the shattered earth, glowing with radiant life force. It's no ordinary tree. It's the world tree, sacred and divine, piercing the clouds, its light illuminating the broken dome of the underground mall. This marks the arrival of the game's most coveted prize. The first item to descend from the Tower of Trials has arrived, and its presence changes everything. As the storm raged and the crowd braced for the unknown, a thunderous roar echoed through the plaza. Two individuals standing near the epicenter gasped in disbelief. One of them, fists clenched and eyes wide, shouted, "Whoa!" His companion, equally stunned but more composed, identified the anomaly with certainty. "It's a mangrove," she exclaimed, her gaze fixed on the colossal, tree-like structure erupting from the fountain. Its roots twisted unnaturally, glowing faintly with energy that radiated both danger and awe. The environment around them warped subtly, water spiraling upward, and a damp wind surged through the space like the breath of another world. The structure wasn't natural, it was summoned. A piece of the tower had manifested, and its presence sent ripples of realization through everyone who recognized it. This was no ordinary tree. It marked the beginning of the true trial. Hyuk stood amidst the rain and rising tension. He couldn't help the small smile forming on his face. In front of him, the mangrove had sprouted exactly as he remembered. The scene, the energy, the atmosphere, it was all just like in a game. He whispered to himself, "It's really the same as the Tower of Trials. Is this a dream?" For a fleeting moment, he questioned reality. But the sounds, the cold rain, the fear in the people's eyes, everything screamed authenticity. His mind raced with validation. So my memory was right. All the knowledge he had from the game wasn't fantasy anymore. It was his weapon now. And unlike the others, the sudden appearance of the mangrove of greed shocks everyone present. Its massive roots pierce through the ground as it towers over the surroundings. The tree exudes a mystical aura, pulsing with ancient energy and surrounded by thick vines and sparkling light. As the mist settles, shouts erupt among the crowd. Someone points out that the tree has borne fruits, vivid, luscious red fruits that dangle temptingly from its limbs. A wave of realization sweeps through the group. The onlookers remember the lore from the game. Each fruit grants powerful stat boosts, strength, agility, health, and magic. These are no ordinary consumables. They're coveted treasures that could decide the fate of anyone brave enough to reach them. A rush begins. Everyone knows there's only one rule now. Grab a fruit or get left behind. The young man eyes the glowing tree carefully, aware of the value of the fruits hanging from its branches. He acknowledges that these items are powerful, but there are only 4 in total. Far too few for the number of people present. He braces himself mentally, realizing this will be no easy task. A fierce competition erupts instantly as players rush the tree from all sides. Everyone is desperate to grab the fruit, shouting and clawing their way up. The scene descends into chaos, with cries of "It's mine" echoing throughout the area. People began to fight their way toward the tree, yelling and shoving others out of their way in the mad rush. A man screamed for others to move while throwing his weight forward. Another woman lunged with equal aggression, throwing an elbow at someone trying to block her path, shouting that the fruit belonged to her. Amid the chaos, a figure was forcefully thrown to the ground. Their body crashed hard, sliding on the dirt. Cursing in pain and frustration, they realized that this battle was far from just a game. As chaos erupted around the tree, the man who had previously been punched by the protagonist now sat bloodied and desperate on the ground. He tried to reason with the protagonist, claiming they could have both benefited if they had just worked together and split the fruits. His voice was filled with frustration and regret as he pointed out the missed opportunity. The protagonist, however, remained unmoved. As he turned away, the man shouted after him in anger, blaming him for their failure. "Now we won't get any fruits," he yelled, furious at the situation and his own helplessness. But the protagonist didn't look back. He had already made his choice. Amidst the chaos, desperate survivors scramble over the twisted roots of the mangrove of greed, each of them fighting savagely to reach the glowing fruits. One woman forcefully shoves another man down by the face, clawing her way forward without hesitation. Tensions boil over as people trample, push, and scream, all driven by the hunger to claim the rare fruit that could change their fate. In the midst of the madness, a hand finally closes around one of the fruits. The skin glistens with dew, its magic aura unmistakable. A single pull, and the fruit snaps free from the branch. One has been claimed, but 3 remain, and the frenzy has only just begun. The moment the fruit was snatched from the tree, chaos erupted. 2 figures scrambled over roots, clawing and fighting to reach one of the 4 coveted fruits. With desperation in his eyes, a man managed to grab one and, without hesitation, took a bite. As the juice dripped from his mouth, a soft chime echoed around him, agility +3. His body tingled. An alert expression lit up his face. "Why, yes," he shouted triumphantly, raising the half-eaten fruit in the air. His joy was short-lived, however, as another contestant clung to him, trying to wrestle the rest of the fruit away. The fight for the mangrove of greed's power had truly begun. Amidst the chaos of the mangrove's sudden appearance, one man forcefully shoves another aside and manages to grab one of the glowing fruits. Without hesitation, he takes a bite. A glowing blue message appears beside him, agility +3. "Why, yes," he exclaims, clutching the fruit triumphantly as a woman clings to his back. But the crowd continues to swarm the tree. Most of the participants are unaware of the fruit's true value. They only see the chaos, not the reward. The narrator explains that only those who've played this game before understand the real objective, the fruit. While others fight blindly around the trunk, those with experience focus on one thing, climbing higher and faster to secure the fruit that grants real power. The crowd scrambled and shoved violently around the base of the massive tree, their eyes locked on the glowing fruits high above. Chaos erupted as people climbed, clawed, and kicked their way toward the precious items. Some were thrown off, tumbling into others as desperation turned into an all-out brawl. Amid the madness, a single figure stood silently apart. His dark eyes watched the scene with eerie calm. He wasn't worried. Unlike the others, he knew exactly how this would unfold. He had lived through this scenario in the game countless times. These early struggles, the fighting, the fruit frenzy, it was all predictable. He had already planned several moves ahead. And people who've no-lifed the game like me, he thought, lips curling into a quiet smirk. This was just the beginning. As chaos surrounds the mangrove of greed, the protagonist remains composed. He smirks, knowing that this moment is exactly what he trained for. While others struggle over the fruit like desperate animals, he steps back, not to avoid the fight, but to savor what's coming. He's not after just the fruit. He wants to dominate the system itself. A twisted pleasure flashes in his eyes. For someone who has poured endless hours into mastering this game, the real reward isn't just power. It's watching others break under the pressure of a world he knows inside out. The screen turns crimson with words that mark the true beginning. Enjoy the more sadistic and perverted process that follows. The game isn't just survival anymore. It's a blood sport, and he's the one holding the rules. As the chaos erupted under the mangrove tree, a swift shadow cut through the madness. A leg whipped down with unstoppable momentum, carving the air apart. The kick landed with devastating force. The ground split, and debris flew everywhere as the impact shook the area. The violent display silenced the frantic scrambling, sending a clear message. Whoever made that move was not someone to fight over fruit with. As chaos erupted around the tree, a girl suddenly screamed out a realization. Eating all the fruits wasn't safe. A horrifying thought struck her. She had forgotten one of the most critical rules of the game. Another panicked player fell to the ground as he was struck by an overwhelming force. The bystanders watched in horror, now understanding that the fruits could bring more than just power. They carried consequences. Amid the commotion, the main protagonist broke into a run, yelling out warnings. His memories surged back. He had died in this exact scenario multiple times before. Shouting desperately, he urged everyone to run, admitting that this specific moment had claimed his life. As chaos erupts around the mangrove tree, the protagonist walks forward with calculated calm. The crowd scatters in all directions, some in panic, others in fear of what just happened. Cracks spread across the marble floor beneath him from the previous impact, and people watch him with growing unease as he passes by. His expression unreadable, his presence heavy. Meanwhile, one of the men from earlier, who had previously shouted in frustration about losing the fruits, quietly slips away. Avoiding confrontation and possibly seeking another opportunity, he moves toward the edge of the area, glancing back over his shoulder to ensure no one is watching his retreat. As the dust began to settle from the chaos near the mangrove tree, one of the participants, his face bruised and spirit broken, began to walk away. His body was battered, and the weight of failure hung heavy over him. The crowd that once fought violently had thinned out. Just then, a voice pierced through the silence. "Are you giving up?" asked the dark-haired young man, his tone calm, yet sharp. The battered man paused, turning his head. His eyes were filled with fear and desperation. "Oh, obviously," he snapped, his voice cracking. "I don't want to die here like that." His shout echoed around them, revealing the raw fear of someone who realized just how real the stakes were in this twisted game. As the two young men stood among the chaos, the dark-haired one spoke with unsettling calmness. "Really? That's a shame. The real prize of this event can only be obtained once you eat all the fruit." His words hung in the air like a cruel revelation. The other guy, bruised and visibly shaken, could hardly believe what he was hearing. His voice trembled as he asked, "Are you serious?" The realization that there was something far greater at stake than he imagined made the situation even more daunting. The protagonist looks calmly at the desperate man and says that the real reward can only be obtained by eating all the fruit. The man, shaken and doubtful, asks if he's serious. With a sharp and serious expression, the protagonist responds that if it were a lie, he wouldn't still be standing there. His unwavering confidence carries weight. The man finally realizes the reason behind the protagonist's strange behavior, why he wasn't scrambling for fruit like the others. It wasn't carelessness. It was strategy. Close up on a sly grin, one corner of the mouth curling up with confidence. The character's internal monologue says, "I don't know the details, but it seems like a nice opportunity." This suggests he's taking advantage of the situation, possibly manipulating or scheming behind the scenes. A single drop of sweat trails down, showing tension masked under that confident smile. The suited man from earlier now faces the main character. His posture is guarded, one brow raised, still unsure whether to trust what he's hearing. He speaks, hesitating slightly. "So let's say you were telling me the truth. What are you suggesting we do?" It's a moment of doubt mixed with reluctant cooperation, as chaos still looms around them. "We gotta dive in." His voice was steady, resolute. There wasn't a shred of doubt in his eyes. No second-guessing, no hesitation. Whatever stood ahead, they were going through it. If we move one by one, we'll be easy targets. The tree ahead crackled with a vicious energy. Its twisted roots smashed the earth like coiled serpents lashing out in fury. He raised his hand, pointing to both sides. We charged from opposite directions at the same time. It wasn't just strategy, it was survival. Divide the threat or be swallowed whole. The first guy, the one in the suit, finally starts putting it together. He looks over and says, "So you want to distract it?" His tone is serious now, he's in. Meanwhile, the other guy stands calmly with his hands in his jacket, eyes shadowed but determined. "Yep," he responds. No hesitation. The plan's already in motion. They step out into the open, walking side by side. The tension is real now. The one in the blue jacket gives a final warning. "Remember, If even one of us hesitates, we both die. It's not just about fighting now, it's about trust. Perfect coordination or nothing. The suited guy smirks a bit, trying to shake off the pressure. Don't worry, I played plenty of this game as well. They're both committed now. This isn't just a game anymore. It's life or death, and the only way forward is straight through the danger. Tap. One foot slams forward, light, fast, full of purpose. This isn't just a step. It's the signal. FWIP. He surges like a bullet down the hall, arms cutting through the air, eyes locked ahead. Every breath he takes is calculated. Every second counts. He remembers what the other guy said. Even one moment of hesitation, and we're both dead. Not this time. Not him. This is no longer a game. This is survival. And he's all in. Thud. The suited man slams his foot into the marble floor, launching forward like a bullet. His eyes sharpen, focused, unwavering. Meanwhile, the massive tree-like creature looms ahead. Its bark pulses with unnatural energy, groaning as tendrils lash and sway, sensing movement. From opposite sides, both men charge in unison. A perfect pincer strike. Boom! Massive roots slam into the ground like living hammers, cracking concrete and sending debris flying. The tree, no, the creature, isn't just defending. It's hunting. From the chaos of twisting wood, one root lunges like a serpent, sharp, fast, and deadly. But he's already in motion. The boy in the blue jacket dives low, body coiled like a spring, eyes locked ahead. A hair's breadth from being skewered, he twists, narrowly evading the strike. His breathing is steady. This isn't panic. This is precision. He's done this before. Only this time. The game's real. What about Lee Jong-soo? His tone was flat, but his eyes burned with intensity. A question, yes, but more like a challenge. The room felt colder. He wasn't just asking out of curiosity. He already knew something. The moment that name was dropped. You stupid idiot. The man in the suit exploded with rage. Who would trust your words? His voice echoed through the air like a slap. It wasn't just anger, it was fear. Lee Jong-soo's name had hit a nerve. And now, the tension was ready to snap. One knows too much. The other's trying too hard to hide. Things are about to get messy. Cold smirk stretches across the man's face. Go ahead and be bait. His words drip with mockery, not even trying to hide the betrayal. He never intended to fight fair. The moment the words leave his mouth, a massive wooden tendril crashes down. The younger one braces himself, cloak whipping in the wind, eyes sharp despite the chaos. He doesn't flinch. He moves. There's no time to argue. Either play the role or die before the next breath. I'm so glad. His voice is low, almost too calm for the chaos around him. But that smirk, it isn't relief. It's recognition, as if everything, from the betrayal to the setup, was exactly how he expected it to go. You haven't changed. He whispers it like a cold truth, not a compliment. Not bitterness either. Just fact. The other man still plays dirty, still uses people, and that's why this is going to be easy. Sudden slash impact. A blur cuts through the air like a blade of vengeance. No hesitation. No second guessing. The strike is fast, violent, and final. Something just shifted. This isn't a distraction anymore. It's payback. TCH. He clenches his jaw, eyes fixed, breath sharp. The monster's whip-like appendage slices through the air, just inches from his face, but he doesn't flinch. He's not just dodging. He's baiting. The one who is the bait. The thought echoes coldly in his mind, laced with irony. In the distance, the suited man stands in the open, confused. He was never the target. With a roar of force, the creature's massive strike curves, veering off the intended path. Right toward him. The trap he thought he set was never his to control. And now, with the speed of a missile, death barrels toward the one who thought he'd been watching from safety. Is you. The person who is standing further away. The protagonist's voice cuts through the chaos like a blade. The realization dawns. The whole plan was flipped. He wasn't the bait. Someone else was. Someone who thought they were in control. The suited man's eyes widen in panic. What? His confidence shatters in an instant. The blur of a strike is already surging toward him. He's caught off guard. The trap he thought he set has turned on him. A bead of sweat slides down his cheek as the incoming threat barrels closer. This moment marks the twist. The true strategist isn't the one shouting loudest. It's the one who lets others think they've won. Ask ChatGPT. The trap is sprung. Vines explode like a nest of serpents, thick, gnarled, and merciless, wrapping around the suited man's limbs, his torso, even his neck. Up! His scream rips through the air as his body is violently yanked upward, branches slamming him into the wall like a rag doll. His polished composure? Gone. His arrogant confidence? Shattered. He wasn't the bait. He was the target. And now, the real player steps forward. He really ran. The restrained man's eyes widen in disbelief as he watches the blue-jacketed figure sprint away, not once looking back. Twisted roots tighten their grip, wrapping around his chest like a noose. His expression turns to panic. Sweat streams down. His voice cracks. "You bastard!" He howls, pure rage and terror twisting his features. The betrayal is complete. He thought he was using the other guy as bait. But in reality, he was the bait all along. Why should I? The boy didn't even look back. If you have a problem, take it to court with those lawyers of yours. And for the first time, the arrogant man wept. Tears of regret. Tears too late. The tendrils tightened mercilessly around the man's body, crushing his arrogance along with his bones. Panic flooded his eyes as tears welled up, raw survival instinct replacing all previous confidence. "And no, I don't want to die," he screamed, voice cracking, but it was too late. The tree's wrath answered with a violent twist. His final cry echoed, smothered beneath the creaking limbs. Blood sprayed as his body was yanked into the air, consumed by the very trap he laughed at moments ago. Justice had taken root, and it showed no mercy. With cold eyes and no hint of remorse, he watched the screaming man get swallowed by the writhing roots. "Goodbye, you piece of shit," he muttered, his voice flat, unforgiving. But he didn't stop, because this wasn't over. As the ground trembled beneath him and the twisted tree roared to life once again, he turned his gaze toward the next target. His expression hardened. His steps were steady, but his heart burned with fury. This was retribution, and he was just getting started. The boy steadies himself, standing firm as the tree roots whip around violently. His hoodie flutters in the surge of power around him. There's no hesitation in his posture, only controlled aggression, like a coiled spring about to snap. 22 degrees from the left. His eyes narrow sharply. He isn't just fighting, he's calculating, tracking the trajectory of each root as they tear through the air. A single blink, and he's visualized the angle of attack. Thick root cuts across the scene like a deadly blade. The speed and weight behind it could crush bones like twigs, but he doesn't falter. His gaze never breaks contact. 35 degrees from the right. Another root barrels toward him, its path jagged and erratic. But to him, it's predictable. His irises reflect the incoming strike, his brain already processing the counter. The protagonist stands unfazed, his eyes locked on the writhing tendrils aiming for him. With a calm yet confident breath, he shifts his body ever so slightly. Inner monologue. Dodging isn't hard if you can read the angles. Two massive tendrils smash into one another with crushing force, missing him by mere inches. The sheer impact sends shockwaves down the arena floor, debris flying. Had he moved even a split second too late, he would have been torn in half. But to him, it was like solving a math problem. Predictable. Clean. The powerful strike connects. Roots are flung back violently as energy bursts around the thick bark. The tree shudders under the sudden impact, lines of force cracking through its core like lightning in wood. With a monstrous creak and a deafening snap, the ancient tree can't hold on any longer. Its trunk twists unnaturally, then breaks apart completely, toppling with a thunderous crash that shakes the battlefield. All right, finally, the scene slows down. The camera focuses on the twisted tree, its bark tearing apart, revealing something grotesque buried within. A beating heart, pink, raw, and pulsing, emerges from within the cracked wood. Dudun. Dudun. The monster's core is exposed. Vulnerable. Alive. The real fight is about to begin. The core of the mangrove has revealed itself. His eyes narrow. The moment he's been waiting for, finally within reach. The heartbeat of the monstrous tree pulses in front of him, a grotesque lump of flesh nestled deep within its trunk. The timing has to be perfect. No second chances. A faint smirk dances across his lips. It's exactly the same as what I experienced in the game. His confidence is not born of arrogance, but preparation. Every motion, every twitch of the mangrove's tendrils predicted. Yet finding out the exact angles the attacks come from and manipulating the attacks to my advantage is the difficult part. This isn't just a fight. This is execution. A strategy years in the making now put to the test in real life. The tension in the air tightens like a taut string. A lone figure appears before our protagonist, partially shadowed by the swirling dust. His stance is cocky, confident, even amused. No need to make this ugly. The stranger says, a smug grin tugging at his lips. Just hand over the tree orb. He's not asking. He's expecting obedience. But the sharp glint in the protagonist's eyes tells a different story. One that ends in blood, not barter. The vines whip toward him in a blinding flurry, red, writhing, and blood-hungry. The mangrove of greed uses the skill vampiric vines. The system prompt flashes before his eyes, but there's no time to react. Dozens, no, hundreds of tendrils swarm the air, cutting through space with deadly precision. He braces, but even he knows this is far more than he can dodge. Even though I'm a no-lifer, I can't dodge all that. The cold realization hits. This isn't a game anymore. One wrong move, and it's over. A deadly calm settles in his eyes. The chaos rages on around him, but he sees only his target. Every muscle in his body tenses, not with fear, but with precise, focused intent. He's not going to run. He's going to end this. Snap. His hand closes around the jagged spear of wood like it was forged just for him. Not a moment of hesitation. This is the moment. If he's going to strike, it has to be now. Slash. The sharpened wood spear pierces through the fleshy vine with a vicious crackle, severing the monstrous tendril midair. Red sap splatters like blood, painting the battlefield with proof of the strike's precision. His form is tight, focused, arms crossed to guard, eyes locked with deadly calm. This isn't desperation anymore, it's calculation. The second vine lashes out, swift and merciless. But he doesn't flinch. With steely resolve, he raises his forearm, bracing for impact. The force sends a shock wave through his bones, but he holds his ground, unmoved. Behind gritted teeth and furrowed brows, he fights through the pain, because the opening he needs is just seconds away. And he's not going to miss it. Boom! The ground erupts in a violent shock wave, debris flying like missiles. The vines thrash wildly in the blinding light, and everything vanishes beneath the wave of explosive force. Through the chaos, the boy charges in, not dodging this time, but countering head-on. His hoodie flares in the storm, wooden stake gripped tightly. His movements aren't reckless. They're precise, calculated, relentless. Deflecting the attacks is still definitely doable. The protagonist's inner monologue pulses with confidence as he tightens his grip on the sharpened wooden stake, his resolve unwavering. From the heart of the chaos, the mangrove of greed rides violently. Its grotesque trunk twists into a monstrous silhouette, rage seething from its bark-like tendrils. The entire arena trembles as the boss unleashes its fury, no longer just defending its core, but now attacking with intent to kill. Boom! A blackened mass of roots and gnarled wood slams down like a divine punishment, thick, heavy, and brutal. The sky itself trembles. There's no need to be scared. His inner voice is calm, unwavering, and no reason to be afraid. His breath steadies. His grip tightens. The storm may rage, but he stands unshaken. Crack! The barrage intensifies. Vines slam down from every direction, like whips cracking the air, slicing stone, seeking flesh. But he stands tall, focused, eyes gleaming with eerie calm under pressure. His footwork shifts, fluid and sharp. He spins with the broken spear in hand, striking vines mid-air, deflecting each one with mechanical precision. The momentum is his now. "You're not fast enough," he mutters. Boom! The tendrils crash violently into the concrete, shattering the earth and leaving behind a cratered battlefield. The sheer force of the mangrove's attack shakes the air. A foot plants firmly on the ground. Calm. Steady. He's not running anymore. He's advancing. A deadly tendril slices past the boy, but he doesn't flinch. His eyes are sharp, honed by experience. His body flows like water, the wooden spike in his hand cutting arcs through the air. This pattern, same timing, same delay after each pulse. His lips curl into a smirk. I've danced this dance before. The protagonist swings his weapon downward, attempting to land a hit on the mangrove of greed's vines. His expression is serious, and there's visible motion blur showing how fast and forceful the swing is. It seems like he's trying to break through the vines, but there's no clear impact, implying the attack might not have landed. The protagonist is seen dodging or running with determination. The vines are still around him, and he's looking ahead with a focused expression. He's holding the weapon tightly and says, "Almost there," which suggests he hasn't succeeded yet, but is getting closer to his goal. A large tree trunk slams down with violent force. The impact is heavy, with motion lines and cracking sounds emphasizing the sheer power behind the attack. The target's silhouette dodges to the side, narrowly avoiding the blow. Suddenly, the chaos breaks. Light pours in from the sky above. A burst of glowing butterflies floods the forest canopy, filling the space with serenity and ethereal beauty. Everything slows for a moment, the tension fading into a surreal calm. The protagonist steadies himself, bracing against the chaotic energy swirling around. His eyes are locked forward with intensity. He's not giving up. Without hesitation, he launches forward, arm raised and ready to strike. The momentum builds. This is his moment to fight back with everything he's got. He knew exactly what kind of creatures he was dealing with. Monsters that release sleeping powder as a defense. One wrong breath, and he'd be out cold. But this wasn't his first time. He'd already trained himself for moments like this. With his face covered and mind focused, he charged forward, dodging their strikes. It wasn't hard. Not when you knew the trick. The protagonist bursts forward, launching himself through the flurry of glowing butterflies, eyes locked on his target. He braces his body midair, muscles tensed. He's about to strike. Just hold your breath suffices. He isn't panicked. He knows exactly what to do. He reaches it. Embedded in the gnarled bark of the tree monster, a large, pulsating heart lies exposed, glowing and vulnerable. This is the core, the weak spot. The protagonist launches himself like a missile, crashing down with explosive force. His fist, glowing with power, slams into the forest floor, right where the tree's heart is buried. A violent shockwave blasts through the forest. The tree shakes, creaks, and groans. Branches twist unnaturally as the impact sends a ripple through its entire structure. Panel 1. The protagonist thrusts his hand forward, red energy swirling around it as he prepares to strike. His palm hits the target with full force, causing a bright explosion of energy at the impact point. The protagonist slams his fist into the core of the tree monster, sending a burst of glowing energy through its trunk as butterflies scatter from the impact. Cut to the antagonist. His eyes go wide, his expression stiffens, and crimson lightning crackles around his face. He's clearly stunned by the sudden turn. The protagonist delivers a finishing blow, slamming his full weight and energy into the heart of the massive tree. The impact sends shockwaves up the trunk, splintering the wood as energy bursts from the point of contact. A hush falls over the forest. Leaves swirl and scatter gently in the aftermath, caught in the glowing light of the fading energy. The battle is over. A system message appears in bright, glowing text. You are the first to defeat the mangrove tree of greed. The significance is clear. This was no ordinary foe. The camera pans out, revealing the defeated tree looming in the quiet aftermath. The protagonist stands tall before it, breathing heavily as the corrupted glow fades from the trunk. The forest has gone still. No more butterflies, no more chaos. Only silence and the crackle of fading energy remain. The protagonist stands quietly in the aftermath, his lips slightly parted as if processing what just happened. The tension finally breaks. With a faint smile, he looks up, reflecting on his journey. To think all that relentless research, tracking patterns, memorizing timing, would actually pay off. For the first time in a while, he's not just relieved, he's grateful. Honestly, I'm thankful for everything I've done up to now. A system message appears. Your achievements will be recorded in the Hall of Fame for the entirety of tomorrow. A sign that what he did here today won't just be remembered, it'll be immortalized. Another message follows, this one short, simple, yet profound. Please state your name. The moment has come, not just to celebrate a victory, but to claim it, to give a name to the legend just forged. The protagonist glares at the system prompt, unimpressed. As expected, he mutters, clearly annoyed. A digital prompt glows beside him, demanding a name for the Hall of Fame entry. Staring at the input field label name, he turns away slightly and responds coldly, I don't have a name. It will all be confidential. His refusal is firm. His identity remains a secret. Shall I continue with the next panels if you're uploading more? The protagonist glares at the system's prompt, internally refusing to reveal his personal information. A name input screen hovers beside him, unfilled. He reasons that if word gets out about him being a former top player, it would draw unwanted attention. He mutters with slight annoyance, realizing the system won't allow full anonymity. Some form of identification is mandatory. A notification appears. Name, unknown. Your face will be covered with a mosaic and your voice will be changed. The protagonist stares at the message with calm acceptance. It's telling me to settle for a hidden identity, he mutters. Then, after a brief pause, he adds, well, it's not like there's nothing I can't do about it in the future. He smirks slightly. Have it your way. Close-up of his hand, gently pressing against the glowing bark, a soft hum vibrating under his palm. Narration, inner monologue, this is more important right now. Zoomed out shot. The protagonist leans forward, steadying himself against the tree. Wind and remnants of energy swirl around him like whispers of recognition. No words, just the quiet tension of something ancient awakening beneath his fingertips. The protagonist smiles with quiet satisfaction, eyes narrowed in focused triumph. He lifts his hand, revealing a glowing green orb resting in his palm. The clear reward for defeating the mangrove tree of greed. The protagonist triumphantly shouts, I finally got it. His eyes gleam with satisfaction, surrounded by a dramatic burst effect emphasizing his excitement. With a confident smile, he clenches his fist and pulls down on his hoodie's zipper strap slightly. His posture relaxed, but his aura says it all. Mission accomplished. A glowing notification hovers in the air. Obtain tree essence. Tree orb. The panel zooms in on a glistening crimson fruit nestled in glowing leaves. Liquid magic dripping from its surface. Caption below. If each tree fruit increases strength, agility, or magic by 3. The orb floated in his palm, glowing with a faint pulse of energy. Leaves swirled in the air around it, drawn to its power like moths to a flame. His eyes narrowed, calculating. This one orb is worth 4 level-ups. A grin tugged at the corner of his lips. He clenched his hand around the tree orb, and the swirling wind stilled. In the early stages of the game, this much of a boost is completely overpowered. His fingers loosened, holding the orb gently now, like a jewel too precious to waste. With this, I can dominate the next few quests without even breaking a sweat. A new sense of confidence burned in his eyes. The mangrove tree of greed may have fallen, but for him, this was only the beginning. Close up on the protagonist's intense eyes as he raises the glowing tree orb to his lips. Inner monologue, thought bubble. It's a broken item. There's nothing as cost-effective as this. Lower caption box. Even in all the 50 floors. The protagonist places the orb into his mouth with a determined look, swallowing it in one smooth motion. The orb sparkles with energy, casting a soft glow on his face. Sound effect, gulp. Zoomed out shot. He lowers his hands slowly, fists clenching as the orb's energy begins to surge through him. His hoodie ripples from an unseen force as the ground trembles faintly beneath him. Visual. The protagonist stands still, engulfed in a radiant glow. Energy surges around his chest, his jacket fluttering, and his arms relaxed yet powerful. It's clear the orb has taken effect, merging with his body. Vibe. Transcendent and empowering, like he's leveling up in real time. Inner monologue, optional. 12 stat points, coursing through every nerve. This power, it's real. Visual, a close-up of his narrowed eyes, gleaming with intensity and calculation. Dialogue, Inner monologue. This changes everything. I'll need to reassess my entire climb strategy for the next floor. Kang Jin-hyuk stared at the glowing screen before him. He tilted his head slightly, tapping the screen with practiced precision. All right, he muttered under his breath. Should I check its effect? Status. Name, Kang Jin-hyuk. Sex, male. Age, 27. Level 1. Strength, 5. Agility, 6. Vitality, 7. Magic, 5. Stat points possessed, 12. Class, none. Unique ability, none. Skill, none. The system interface flashes once more. Blue system box. All status changes have been successfully applied. You may now proceed to the next trial. Kang Jin-hyuk clenches his fists, feeling the surge of newfound power in his veins. A wind picks up around him, ruffling his jacket. Kang, internal monologue. With just one item, I've caught up to players who train for weeks. Close-up of his eyes, sharp and focused. Kang, internal monologue. And this is just the beginning. A young man in a blue hoodie sits calmly in front of screen, the glow illuminating his sharp gaze. The upload progress bar hits 100%. But the moment the video finished uploading, a wide shot of a glowing monitor playing the recorded run of the Mangrove Tree of Greed. Right side, multiple silhouettes leaning closer to their screens, eyes wide. Narration box. But as the video played, everything changed. Comments begin to flood in like a storm. Comment section highlighted. Wait, did he just dodge every attack flawlessly? That's no luck. That's muscle memory and instinct. Check the movement pattern. He predicted the mangrove's vines before they even moved. A close-up of a famous pro streamer's reaction, eyes wide behind his glasses as he watches the video. Pro streamer, speech bubble. This guy, he's not just good, he's experienced. That's elite-tier gameplay. The player, Kang Jin-hyuk, watches from his screen with a smirk as the upvotes soar into the thousands. The chat changed. From doubt to awe. A large banner flashes on the screen. Trending number 1. Mangrove solo clear. Unknown god. Hidden identity. But a name already echoing across the tower. Close-up comment section. Chat messages flying in rapid succession, lit up in awe instead of doubt. Wait, that was a perfect dodge. He predicted the attack pattern. That's not RNG, that's precision. Narration box. Doubt turned into shock. Shock into admiration. The moment the video was uploaded, the internet exploded. All the doubts, all the sneers, all the accusations of cheating or dumb luck vanished. As the footage rolled, viewers were left speechless, mesmerized by the masked figure darting through the chaos like a phantom. His movements were precise, his timing flawless, and his attacks devastating. Pixelated or not, his power was undeniable. Frame by frame, the world saw the truth. This wasn't luck. This was skill. Pure, honed, unstoppable skill. Visual. The massive mangrove tree of greed stands tall, scarred and shaking, pieces of bark crumbling off as the aftermath of Kong Jin-hyuk's attack echoes through the forest. SFX Croc. The Tree of Greed, long thought to be invincible, trembled under his assault. Reactions, although slightly varied, were consistent. Kong Jin-hyuk sits in front of his monitor, calmly analyzing the comment flood on his secondary account. But suddenly, Kong Jin-hyuk, looking at another screen, surprised. Meanwhile, on my main account, he leans closer to the screen, frowning slightly. Kong Jin-hyuk in a relaxed posture, sitting back in his chair. Kong Jin-hyuk, thoughtful expression. Was it really that amazing? Of course, Mangrove of Greed isn't easy to beat at level 1. But it's not something to be this surprised about. We see the protagonist screen still showing the first Mangrove Tree of Greed clear post with glowing light reflecting off the monitor. His expression is contemplative. Kong Jin-hyuk, inner monologue. Anyways, 1 billion. I'll take it. His eyes are calm but determined. Kong Jin-hyuk, inner monologue. With that kind of money, I can finally begin laying the groundwork for the real game. I lived a life hard to even earn a living. Panel shows a webcam on a monitor bathed in soft daylight. Narration box. It was common to be late on rent. It wasn't just about surviving. It was a constant struggle between hunger and pride. Streaming had become a lifeline, but to keep the content going, I often push my body to its limits, sacrificing meals just to afford the next feast for the camera. Now, sitting before a mountain of food, I devoured it like a man possessed, not for taste, not even for hunger, but for the sake of views, for the illusion of success. Every bite was a reminder of what I endured just to stay afloat in a world that only saw numbers. If this opportunity had come just a day earlier, Kong Jin-hyuk wouldn't have thought twice. He would have snatched it up in a heartbeat, hungry for success, desperate for a break. But now, everything had changed. He stood silently in front of the massive, splintered remains of the Mangrove Tree of Greed, its corrupted core still glowing faintly, as if acknowledging its conqueror. His breath was steady, his resolve unwavering. "I'm not going to sell my knowledge," he muttered under his breath, voice cold and firm. Not for 1 billion, not even for 10. He didn't need their money anymore. He had something far more valuable now: power, foresight, and the time to use it. And he would never let anyone else control that again. The most important thing right now was information, and he planned to monopolize it. With a steady hand, he pulled out his phone. The screen glowed as he began typing, his next destination already in mind. The moment the game was played, everything changed. From the heart of Seoul, the Tower of Trial began to bleed mana. Swirling tendrils of raw, radiant energy escaped its towering form like a storm ripping across the sky. The once still air crackled with arcane static, a pulse of magical power spreading unseen, yet deeply felt across the entire city. Skyscrapers stood helpless beneath the storm. Their glass windows reflected the violet and crimson spiral forming above. Yet for all the spectacle and panic that followed, no catastrophe came. Not immediately. Inner voice. It didn't have a significant effect. Not at first glance. But if there was one real change, one ripple that couldn't be ignored. Every artifact, once considered inert, suddenly awakened. Ordinary magical items, forgotten trinkets, relics scavenged by players and stored away in vaults and backpacks. Each one began to shine with an unexplainable radiance. Their auras intensified. Their powers bloomed. Inner voice, firm and reflective. It was that the artifacts outside of the tower became holy artifacts. In one museum, a sword locked in a display case started reacting. It was just decoration before, something to admire behind glass. But now, it was vibrating. It was glowing. Mana was seeping into it, as if the weapon had remembered its true form. It wasn't real. Not originally. The legendary artifacts were inside the tower. This sword? It was just a copy. But now, even a copy could become dangerous. Thanks to the tower's mana, replicas weren't just replicas anymore. They were awakening. As the moonlight bathed the city, the protagonist pulled out his phone. He wasn't just browsing. He had a plan. His voice was calm, but what he said carried weight. This is the place you can get the most replicas. And that place? It was none other than the National Museum of Korea. Under the glow of a pale moon, he stood before the massive building that held countless relics, some mere replicas, others possibly awakened by the tower's mana. Every step he took from here on out wasn't just about exploration, it was a heist, a knowledge heist, a raid on relics that had just become real. As the camera pans up, we see a dazzling array of ancient artifacts suspended mid-air in a magical blue glow, an elegant sword, a sturdy round shield, a mystical scroll with old script, and a small white vessel. These aren't just museum pieces anymore. They become something more. But here's the twist. He's not the only one aiming for these relics. Close-up of the protagonist's face, tension rising. Unlike the mangrove of greed, which sprouted in 7 locations across Seoul, there's only one national museum. But he wasn't alone in this race. Others had sensed the same opportunity. From the shadows of Seoul, former top players, seasoned, ruthless, and hungry for dominance, began to emerge. Each one driven by ambition. Each one ready to fight. He didn't hesitate. With a firm grip, he reached out and opened the door to the unknown. You have entered the event area, and so our protagonist steps inside. The door creaks open behind him, but there's nothing. No chatter, no echoing footsteps, just silence. It's quieter than I expected, he mutters, eyes scanning the room. He was expecting competition, a crowd of hunters, a clash of wills. But instead, it's empty, too empty. And then, his eyes widen, muscles tense. Something's wrong. That eerie quiet wasn't peace. It was a warning. He senses it now. He's not alone after all. The real game is about to begin. Protagonist steps in, sees the body. As I stepped into the silent hall, the stench of scorched flesh hit me before I even looked down. And there was, just as I had expected, a body, charred beyond recognition, twisted, crumpled on the cold floor. Whoever came before me didn't last long. Shocked reaction, realization. My eyes narrowed. This wasn't just a random death. This was a warning. Something in here doesn't want us alive. As the world plunged into chaos and power became the new currency, I thought people would take time to adapt, but I was wrong. Our protagonist stands in the museum, gazing at the aftermath, shattered glass, broken cases. He had expected resistance, but what he found was much more than that. People weren't just adapting to this new world. They were evolving fast. The gap between what he imagined and what was actually happening, far greater than he could have predicted. He looks ahead, his eyes now locked onto a staircase. That's where the real prize is, up in the medieval classical era gallery. That's where the artifact is kept, the one everyone came here to claim. And in a place crawling with competitors, former top-ranked players, and desperate survivors, there's no room for hesitation. So in this scene, we see the protagonist laying out an ancient map, the great map of the Eastland. He's showing it to us, but right away, he makes it clear he's not looking at this like a normal map of Korea. Then he explains it. This map is special. It's not just historical. It's been infused with magical energy. Why is that important? Because this map holds secrets about the Tower of Trials. That's why everyone is after it. Not for history, but for power. It's not just a map anymore. It's a blueprint for conquest. Each glowing icon reveals the exact locations of mazes and ancient ruins. Mystical places filled with unknown dangers and unimaginable rewards. From monsters lurking in the shadows to relics hidden deep within, this map exposes it all. Who wouldn't crave something like this? Even if it only shows up to the 10th floor of the Tower of Trials, that alone is enough. Enough to ignite obsession. Hands reach, desperate and greedy. Hearts burn with desire. Because having this map means one thing: power. And in a world where knowledge is everything, yes, everyone will want that. The protagonist reflects on the greed of others. Everyone is obsessed with the flashy, powerful artifacts, like the magical map from earlier. But in doing so, they ignore other hidden treasures. He's implying that the truly valuable artifacts, The ones that hold deeper importance are overlooked because they're not obvious or flashy. The real power lies buried under the chaos, and no one's paying attention. Chaos has erupted. People are now physically fighting over the artifacts. The tension has snapped. A fight broke out, likely over who gets to claim a specific item, possibly even a fake or less valuable one. In the scramble, someone smashed a vase, and desperate screams fill the air. This shows how far the players have fallen, consumed by greed and competition. Chaos erupts. The room that once held priceless artifacts is now a full-blown battlefield. People claw and scream, trampling over each other in a frenzy. A woman is tackled for a broken piece of ceramic. A man throws punches just to hold on to what he thinks is a treasure. Blood smears across the shattered floor. Fear and greed twist into violence. And then, a roar cuts through the madness like a blade. Everybody freeze. The command echoes louder than any weapon, snapping attention back from the brink. But the damage has already been done. And just like that, chaos erupts. In the first scene, one man's greed boils over. He lunges, grabs another by the collar, and lands a punch right across his face. The crowd around them starts to panic, the tension snapping like a whip. But then, silence falls. A new figure steps forward, calm, composed, deadly serious. His presence alone commands the room. With arms crossed and a cold, piercing gaze, he declares without hesitation, "Anyone who moves from now on will die to me." No one dares to test him. Not after seeing the blood-red mark pulsing on his neck. Not after hearing the tone in his voice. It's clear this is no longer about loot. This has become survival. And just like that, tension snaps like a drawn wire. Armed with nothing but scrap tools and brute defiance, two men step forward. One lifts a steel pipe, his voice cutting through the heavy air like a blade. "Bullshit." The other, bloodied and grinning, clutching a hammer, mocks the threat with wild eyes and a crazed smile. Nobody here will chicken out from empty threats like that. They've tasted fear, sure, but now desperation is stronger. This isn't a battle of strength anymore. It's a clash of madness, greed, and raw survival. And no one is backing down. Not anymore. As the tension explodes into pure violence, the man with the hammer stands his ground, threatening to bash in anyone who so much as flinches. His grip tightens around the weapon, blood still dripping from its edge, proof he's not bluffing. But across from him, the calm is shattered. With a deep breath and a flash of glowing red eyes, the muscle-bound enforcer cracks his knuckles, fury rising like a storm. "Guess words don't do the trick," he growls, his voice low, dangerous. Then with a sudden motion, he tears open his shirt in a surge of power, energy bursting around him as if the atmosphere itself is responding to his rage. The real fight is about to begin. And just like that, the tension explodes. With a furious roar, the man rips off the sleeves of his shirt, revealing monstrous arms infused with terrifying power. Veins bulge, energy crackles. This isn't just intimidation anymore. This is real. He's awakened his unique ability. Watching from a short distance, one of the battered survivors grips his weapon tighter, his confidence now shaken. Even he can tell, this guy isn't normal. Behind him, a woman's voice breaks the silence, stunned and uneasy. "Already has a unique ability?" The man growls under his breath. "Shit, that's a bit dangerous." Because in this world, awakening early means one thing. He's not just ahead of the game. He might be unstoppable. As his monstrous form towers with power, the man snarls, "The map is mine." Smoke curls around him like an aura of fury, his transformed limbs pulsing with raw strength. He's completely consumed by greed and domination. But just when it seems like no one would dare challenge him, we cut to his furious face, veins bulging with rage. He growls through clenched teeth. "The map is yours?" The words sting with disbelief and fury. He's not just angry. He's ready to fight for it. Tension crackles in the air. The battle for the map is about to explode. Just as the chaos was boiling over, a calm, almost mocking voice cuts through the storm. A white-haired old man strolls into the battlefield, hands behind his back, relaxed like he's out for an evening walk. "Heh, I can't agree with those words," he says casually, his presence halting the madness. Everyone turns. Confusion flickers. Who is this guy? The muscle head with the monstrous transformation glares at him, veins bulging, rage bubbling. "Hey, old geezer, are you crazy?" The threat is clear. One wrong word, and this place will erupt again. But the old man doesn't flinch. Something about his calm feels dangerous. And what comes next will shake the battlefield. And just like that, the tension explodes. The old man, calm and deliberate, introduces himself, Min Young-woo, not old geezer. His name carries a meaning. Live life with kindness and friendship. But kindness was the last thing on anyone's mind here. The brute, veins bulging and fury ignited, isn't impressed. He lashes out, mocking the moment, eyes blazing with violence. He doesn't want names. He wants submission, and he's ready to break necks to get it. Min Young-woo, the old man, stays composed despite the young man's threat. His eyes stay half-closed, voice steady, as he offers a biting remark. "Your mouth is dirty for someone so young. You've got a knife for a tongue." His expression is unimpressed, like he's seen 100 hotheads before. In Young-woo raises one hand and gently flicks his finger. A small sound escapes, bing, as the air starts to shift. Then he says, "However," and just like that, something begins to change. The calm before the storm. The old man's eyes sharpen, his calm demeanor hardening into stone. "Which do you think is faster?" he asks, voice like smoldering coal. "For you to break my neck, or for me to turn you into coal?" With a simple flick of his finger, a small blaze ignites. Not just fire, but a warning, a declaration. This isn't just an old man. This is someone dangerous. The battlefield just shifted. The camera zooms in as the flaming orb hurtles toward the man with the floral tattoo. He throws his arms up instinctively, face twisted in panic. SFX, hush. Fire the fireball closes in fast, heat distorting the air around it. Boom! The explosion of flame engulfs the area in a burst of red and orange light. The tattooed man is sent flying backward, crashing into debris. Ash rains down like snow as the silence that follows the blast feels heavier than any threat spoken earlier. The flames roar to life like a dragon awakened. The fireball launched from Min Young-woo's fingers was no bluff. It was hell incarnate. In the blink of an eye, it streaked through the air like a comet, landing squarely on the chest of the tattooed thug. His eyes widened in disbelief, pupils reflecting the incoming inferno. He had no time to dodge. Boom! The explosion of fire swallowed him whole. Flames erupted from his chest, shoulders, and face, licking up to the ceiling in a flash of molten fury. His screams tore through the silence, a brutal symphony of pain. Arg! His tough exterior, his bravado, his threats, all melted away in seconds. Around them, the crowd stood frozen. No one dare breathe. This wasn't just a frail old man with words. This was a mage who could incinerate you for blinking wrong. The burnt, hollow shell of the man crumbles slowly, cracking from head to toe. His skull, blackened and scorched, begins to collapse. Mouth frozen mid-scream, teeth exposed as his face peels away. Chunks of his body fall off like burnt paper. The glowing embers fade. Silence. Inside the dimly lit building, an intense air of seriousness fills the space. Miss Lee Yuri steps forward, holding a small sealed container glowing faintly. Lee Yuri, calmly yes. The item has been secured. No one saw me. Min Young-woo smiles faintly, the embers around his shoulders fading into the shadows. Min Young-woo, good. Then let's make our exit quietly. Narration with the goods retrieved and the threats silenced. The old man's fire dims, but the war for the map has only begun. Lee Yuri steps forward, confident and calm, the flicker of firelight from the smoldering wreckage behind her casting a warm glow on her school uniform. She bends slightly, one finger extended, and gently taps the head of the small, Anubis-like statue with a crisp tack. Lee Yuri, speaking, with a slight smirk. I just need this guy. As her fingertip makes contact, the statue begins to react. A pulse of eerie violet energy spreads from the point of contact. Cracks form along the figure's surface, and a mysterious light seeps out, filling the air with ancient power. Her expression remains calm, but focused. This isn't her first time dealing with an artifact like this. Her eyes shimmer with a soft violet glow, calm and commanding. Shadows coil around her fingers like smoke responding to a ritual. A simple declaration follows, deadly in its confidence. If anyone gets in the way, he'll take care of it. The figurine in her hand pulses violently. Cracks ripple across the base as unholy energy spirals out. A monstrous form begins to emerge, towering, horned, drenched in darkness. The silence breaks with an earth-splitting shriek. The battlefield just shifted. The smoke slowly parts, revealing a gleaming golden armor bathed in darkness. Every inch radiates majesty and menace. As the camera lingers on the hip plate, faint sparks begin to flicker. The full form now stands tall, a towering figure clad in divine black and gold, with ancient hieroglyphic patterns glowing across its back. Two curved horns rise from its helm, and the unmistakable Ankh symbol pulses with ethereal energy as dark tendrils swirl around it. A silent declaration. The guardian has descended. The towering beast stands guard, radiating power and menace. His spear, planted into the shattered concrete, serves as both a weapon and a warning. Behind him, the girl speaks with a calm threat. Anyone who moves from now onwards will be seen as an enemy. Her casual tone contrasts with the lethal promise in her next line. Got it? I'll make him munch on your head. And then, like flipping a switch, she brightens up with a sweet smile, genuine, yet eerily out of place. Let's cooperate, okay? Behind the kindness lies command. One guy stares in disbelief, sweat trailing down his jaw. The heat, the pressure, it's too much. The other, mouth dry, eyes wide. They're not just students anymore. They're monsters. The metallic clang echoes. Knives and hammers fall to the floor, a loud surrender. The map, the ambition, the fight, all abandoned. Their courage melts faster than steel under magic fire. Lee Yuri clasps her hands with a radiant sparkle in her eyes. Thank you, she chirps sweetly, her smile so warm it could melt steel. Behind that charm, though, lingers the confidence of someone who just bent the battlefield to her will. Suddenly, her smile fades. She murmurs, eyes narrowing slightly, posture alert. Her instincts tingle. Something is off. The shift in the wind, the slight vibration under her feet. Danger is approaching. Sound of glass crunching underfoot. A lone step echoes with tension. The polished shoe presses firmly against the broken tiles scattered on the floor, signaling someone's bold approach. The air shifts. A figure in a white shirt walks calmly through the fog and wreckage, completely unbothered by the crowd's wary stares. His presence is sharp, like a blade unsheathed. The room falls quiet. No one dares move. All eyes follow him, but no one dares speak. Something dangerous has just entered the room. The camera tilts upward slightly, focusing on the mysterious young man's half-shadowed face. His expression is calm, eyes unreadable under his fringe. He adjusts his grip on the old cloth bundle as he murmurs. Still, it would have been a pain if it had gotten damaged. Soft gust stirs the dust as he gently brushes off a few shards of glass from the artifact wrapped inside. The surrounding chaos doesn't faze him. He treats the object with the reverence of a museum curator. Behind him, the others tense, uncertain whether to be relieved or scared. The boy in the white jacket freezes as a voice calls out to him from behind. He turns slightly, sensing the shift in atmosphere. The girl has had enough. With glowing violet eyes and a deadly serious expression, she stares him down. All playfulness gone, her words hit like a threat. She's not bluffing anymore. The towering summon crashes its foot down with a thunderous impact, cracking the floor beneath like paper. Shockwaves ripple outward, raw force that silences even the air. With a gleam of control in her glowing violet eyes, she casually rests her hand on the beast's wrist. Her voice is calm but commanding. Get him! Like a general giving her executioner the signal, her chilling smile seals someone's fate. With a single, fluid motion, the Anubis-like guardian raises its deadly weapon and swings downward in a clean, vicious arc. Its glowing crimson eyes and gaping, toothy snarl radiate a feral intensity, a beast unleashed with no hesitation. A thunderous blast explodes outward as the blade strikes, yet the target is gone. The white-haired figure is already airborne, effortlessly flipping above the blow, propelled by the sheer force of the strike itself. His silhouette is etched against the bright, blinding shockwave, completely untouched. The protagonist, calm and unflinching, gets a quiet flex. He didn't block or dodge. He just tanked the hit like it was nothing. The dark-haired man smirks with that signature confidence as he casually unlocks the hidden stat gap, clearly stepping up his game without breaking a sweat. Gap's basically a wild card. It shrinks the gap against stronger foes to keep things interesting, but blows up against weaker ones, turning every fight into a high-stakes gamble. The dark-haired man breaks down the rule. Every 3 stat points you stack up shrink the level gap by 1 against stronger opponents, making those battles a bit less brutal. The dark-haired man wastes no time, landing a sharp kick to the horned monster, who snarls back with furious aggression, turning the fight up a notch. The dark-haired man smirks confidently, slamming his fist down as debris explodes around him, declaring this is how he levels up his strength right now. Facing the towering horned monster, the dark-haired man calmly reveals this brutal method is the result of countless trials, ready to prove its power against the beast's fierce aggression. With a sly smirk, the dark-haired man looks up, unshaken by the chaos beneath, his confidence screaming louder than any battle cry. The massive horned monster lets out a bone-rattling roar, swinging its colossal weapon with wild fury, ready to crush anything in its path. The dark-haired man stands firm, smirking as he shrugs off the brutal strike like it's nothing new. He's faced this beast's fury thousands of times, and somehow, that tiny stat boost just makes him stronger. The dark-haired man locks eyes on his opponent, veins pulsing as his stats climb again, his body's instinctive memory turning every move into an advantage, narrowing that stat gap with ruthless precision. With a smirk, the dark-haired man summons glowing blue screens, tapping into a hidden power that twists the battlefield to his favor like a master hacker rewriting the rules mid-fight. The large-horned monster roars, smashing the wall with brutal force, sending shards of debris flying everywhere as it channels pure rage into every devastating strike. The dark-haired man smirks even as he's slammed back by a powerful strike from the blue glowing weapon wielded by the unseen hand, the tension rising as the veteran's stat gap inches up, signaling this fight's only getting fiercer. The dark-haired man lands a fierce kick on the large horn monster, but the beast snarls back, relentless, because no matter how strong the attack, it's all wasted if it doesn't connect. Black-haired man with glasses and brown-haired woman freeze in shock, while red-haired boy looks worried, all stunned that they actually considered messing with someone that dangerous. The brown-haired woman reels in disbelief, regretting their reckless plan to kill that monster and steal its loot. She knows now how crazy that idea was. The large-horned monster's glare burns with pure rage, ready to tear anyone foolish enough to challenge it apart. The dark-haired man smirks, mocking the sluggish attack. So slow. How are you going to hit me swinging like that? Already ready to dodge or strike back. The large-horned monster roars, fury shaking the ground, while the dark figure below moves fast, launching a sudden counterattack that catches the beast off guard. The hand grips the massive axe tightly, swinging it with explosive power that cuts through the air like a storm unleashed. The dark-haired man smirks, gripping his glowing sword like it's an extension of his will, declaring that leveling up fast is no big deal. He's just getting started. With a fierce roar, The dark-haired man channels every ounce of his energy, unleashing a devastating attack that screams, "All you have to do is bet with your life on the line." No half measures, just raw, unstoppable force. The dark-haired man smirks, barely dodging death as his gap stat ticks up, proving the more danger he faces, the bigger the reward he's cashing in. Kneeling in the shadows, the dark-haired man casually absorbs a stat point from just a few drops of blood, smirking as he mutters, "Getting one stat point for a few drops of blood ain't a bad exchange," clearly playing the game on his own ruthless terms. The hand tightens around a weapon, fingers steady and eyes locked on the target, whispering with fierce confidence, "I got this," ready to turn the tide with nothing but sheer will. The dark-haired man weaves through danger with sharp precision, smirking as he admits one wrong move could be fatal. But he's already plotting the final move to end this. The dark-haired man eyes the shattered glass and towering armored statue, mocking those trying to flee as the brown-haired woman clenches her jaw, the black-haired man with glasses breaking into a nervous sweat while the short brown-haired girl stays silent, tension thickening in the dimly lit room. The brown-haired woman urges Hannah to find a way out, her hand reaching toward the shadowed walls as anxiety ripples between them, desperate to escape the suffocating darkness closing in. Just as panic peaks, the dark-haired man steps in with that smug smirk, cutting through the tension with a cold, "Where are you all going?" leaving the brown-haired woman frozen, shock and fear written all over her face. Her breath catches, sweat trickling down as the word slips out. That's like she just realized something terrifying is about to go down. Her eyes widen, heart pounding as the truth hits harder than she expected. This isn't just bad, it's a total game changer. The dark-haired man smirks, laying out his slick strategy to dodge the horned monster's attacks and rack up hidden stats, making it look way easier than anyone expected. With a fierce grin, the dark-haired man drives his weapon down hard, catching the horned monster off guard and sending it reeling from the blow. Just as tension spikes, a sudden grip clamps down on the brown-haired woman's wrist, her shocked gasp cutting through the chaos as an unknown hand pulls her into danger. Debris crashes down as the brown-haired woman reaches out desperately, while the black-haired man with glasses tightens his grip on a tool, both frozen in shock and fear, realizing the danger closing in fast. Her eyes dart upward, heart pounding as sweat beads on her forehead. Whatever's coming, she knows it's way worse than she expected. Suddenly, a massive explosion rips through the city, sending shards of rubble and crackling energy tearing through the air, turning everything into chaos in an instant. The red-haired boy stumbles back, eyes wide with terror as the shockwave slams into him, barely able to process the nightmare unfolding around him. The dark-haired man smirks, lecturing the shaken brown-haired woman about her mistake, clearly annoyed she didn't dodge or back off when things went south. The large-horned monster snarls, mocking the dark-haired man with a taunt, while the man just stands there, smirking like he's got some secret up his sleeve. The large-horned monster swings its massive axe with brutal force, but the dark-haired man grips his weapon tight, eyes sharp, while the other dark-haired man watches calmly, sizing up the chaos about to unfold. The large-horned monster spins around, eyes wide with shock as the weapon strikes close, the dark-haired man's grip tightening, ready to press the advantage. The confident dark-haired man raises a hand, energy pulsing from the glowing block behind him, while the determined one watches intently, calculating his next move in the shadowed battleground. With a sly smirk, the dark-haired man peeks from behind the wall, casually waving and dropping a cool, "See you later," like he's already 3 steps ahead of whatever's coming next. The large-horned monster grips its weapon tightly, glaring at the stone wall as if daring whatever's hidden to make a move first. The large-horned monster snarls fiercely, its teeth bared and one glowing red eye burning with raw fury, ready to explode at any second. The large-horned monster hoists its massive weapon high, roaring like the world's about to end as it prepares to slam down with brutal force. The brown-haired woman gasps, sweat pouring down her face, struggling to catch her breath as the terrifying roar still echoes in her ears. The red-haired boy and brown-haired woman collapse among shattered stone pillars, breath ragged, exchanging tense words about surviving the nightmare, and wondering if the deadly threat that took Minguk and Haman is finally gone. The red-haired boy and brown-haired woman collapse among shattered stone pillars, breath ragged, exchanging tense words about surviving the nightmare, and wondering if the deadly threat that took Minguk and Haman is finally gone. The brown-haired woman, still reeling, demands to know what could possibly drive someone to pull such a reckless stunt, her voice trembling with disbelief. The dark-haired man fires back with a cold confidence, cutting through the chaos. Isn't that obvious? To increase my stats. The hand grabs the sword off the cold stone floor as a voice reminds them to catch their breath whenever the maze shifts. Because even in this endless trap, timing is everything. The dark-haired man towers over the captured brown-haired woman and red-haired boy, gun in hand, smirking as he taunts them about toying with his prey. Because why rush when you can savor the hunt? The brown-haired woman's voice cracks with desperation, eyes wide as she asks, "Then, how long do we have to do this?" The weight of their grim situation sinking in hard. A sharp voice cuts through the tension, declaring they have exactly 1 month to escape the maze. The brown-haired woman's shock deepening, while the red-haired boy's concern turns to urgent resolve. The brown-haired woman's panic spikes as the brown-haired man, calm but firm, insists they endure this nightmare for 30 more days before splitting up, the weight of the backpack matching the heavy choice hanging between them. The dark-haired man, sharp and calculating, lays out the brutal truth. Staying apart means safety from the monster, forcing a fracture in their fragile alliance. With that sly smirk, the dark-haired man throws down the challenge, asking, "So which were you thinking of going?" Putting all the pressure squarely on their next move. The red-haired boy and brown-haired woman exchange worried glances as she warns that wandering blindly in this ancient, shadowy place will only make things worse. Danger lurking around every corner. The red-haired boy and brown-haired woman exchange worried glances as she warns that wandering blindly in this ancient, shadowy place will only make things worse. Danger lurking around every corner. The dark-haired man smirks, knife in hand, dropping the bomb that he knows this maze better than anyone. So yeah, he's got the exit mapped out, and suddenly the game just got way more interesting. The brown-haired woman's worry spikes as she realizes they might be totally trapped, wondering if escaping solo is even an option. She reluctantly accepts the plan, tension thick as her nervous sweat betrays just how high the stakes really are. The dark-haired man smirks, flashing a peace sign as he drops the cold truth. Nothing in this world comes free, not even a bus ride, reminding everyone that every choice has a price. Suddenly, the blade presses cold against her neck, and the brown-haired woman's shocked eyes scream that this game just got deadly real. With a crooked blade gleaming under the moonlight, the dark-haired man's smirk widens as he snarls, "Spit out all your coins," making it clear this robbery's about to get ruthless. The shield-bearing warrior tightens his grip, raising his massive emblem-adorned shield just in time, bracing to block the incoming strike with unshakable focus. Suddenly, the goblin trio, orange-eyed, blue-skinned, and gray, freeze, eyes wide and jaws dropping, caught off guard by something lurking just beyond the shadows. Suddenly, the goblin trio, orange-eyed, blue-skinned, and gray, freeze, eyes wide and jaws dropping, caught off guard by something lurking just beyond the shadows. The shield-bearing warrior braces, raising his shield just in time to block the goblin's vicious sword slash, the goblin's alarmed Kike cutting through the night air. The shield-bearing warrior braces, raising his shield just in time to block the goblin's vicious sword slash, the goblin's alarmed Kike cutting through the night air. Meanwhile, fans flood the stream chat, freaking out over the Warriors' insane 15-hour solo run, dropping wild reactions and hitting that subscribe button like their lives depend on it. The young man with the headband bursts out, "I did it! I did it!" hyped as he proves his crazy experiment actually works, flipping the whole game on its head. The blonde-haired boy and the young man with a headband high-five, hyped about scoring 1,000 coins from the goblin battle, while the black-haired boy with glasses stays focused, typing away on his laptop as the forums light up with praise for manhwa's game-changing moves. The young man with the headband beams, giving props to the squad, saying all this success is thanks to their hard work and teamwork. The young man with the headband beams, giving props to the squad, saying all this success is thanks to their hard work and teamwork. The light brown-haired guy leans in, scanning the comments section, eyes narrowing as he calls out Baldaman's nonsense, calling bullshit on anyone who thinks just anyone can drop claims like that without proof. The light brown-haired guy flashes a confident grin, telling the black-haired boy not to let the haters get to him, reminding him the world's always going to throw shade, but he's got this. Suddenly, a notification pops up. New video just dropped in the Hall of Fame, hinting at fresh content that could change everything. They scramble to check their video's rank on the platform, heart racing as the numbers reveal just how close they are to breaking into the top tier. Suddenly, everything flips. Light brown-haired guy in glasses dude freeze, eyes wide, shouting, "What's going on? Why did it suddenly?" As chaos crashes their plans out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, the weapon hits +10 refinement, an absolute first, leaving everyone shook, dropping jaws and stammering over how insanely rare this even is. Out of nowhere, the weapon hits +10 refinement, an absolute first, leaving everyone shook, dropping jaws and stammering over how insanely rare this even is. The black-haired boy steps up, crossing his arms with sharp focus, demanding they snap out of it and handle things like they mean business. No more standing around like useless statues. The black-haired boy steps up, crossing his arms with sharp focus, demanding they snap out of it and handle things like they mean business. No more standing around like useless statues. Under the cover of night, the black-haired boy breaks the tension with a casual whistle and a hand gesture, but the red-haired boy stays stone-faced, clearly not buying whatever game is being played. The black-haired boy steps up, fingers flicking through glowing holograms as he gears up to dive into the stock exchange. Time to make his move in this high-stakes digital battlefield. He locks onto the digital interface, determination sharp. "First, I want to secure my coins," he says, ready to outsmart the system and claim his stake in this ruthless coin stock exchange. He scans the glowing interface, fingers dancing over options. "Let's see. This and this," calculating every move like a pro hacker locked in on the jackpot. He zeroes in on the enchanted tarot cards and the busted bronze key fragment, both pricey but too tempting to pass up, knowing they could unlock the next big secret. Snagging the weathered bronze key shard and a chunk of a wooden wagon wheel, he shells out coins without hesitation, sensing these relics are puzzle pieces for the bigger mystery ahead. Scooping up 10 lottery refinement scrolls, the black-haired boy knows these might be trash to most, but he's betting on their hidden worth. Sometimes the junk others overlook holds the key to leveling up big. Hand hits yes on the digital screen, sealing the deal with a thank you ping, because grabbing items is one thing, but how you play your cards, that's the real game changer. Black-haired boy locks in his focus, declaring, "I will combine 3 items," as the cards, staff, and umbrella swirl together on the glowing interface. This fusion's about to flip the whole game upside down. Blue energy crackles wildly as the black-haired boy stands firm. The fusion complete, and the system confirms. Combination has been successful. Now watch how this power changes everything. The Wheel of Fortune from Fortuna grants a maxed-out luck boost for 10 minutes, but it's one-time use and incomplete, meaning its power and range are seriously limited, so timing this move is everything. With a steely glare, the black-haired boy summons a radiant bird emblem above him, signaling the activation of a rare skill that could turn the tide, but only if he plays his cards right. The black-haired boy conjures a glowing blue dagger, his eyes sharp with resolve as he warns that luck's power is tricky, useless if you don't understand its limits. That hand tightens around the sword, voice steady, but I know exactly where that boundary is because I remember everything in my life. No room for doubt, just pure, unshakable confidence ready to cut through any challenge. Black-haired boy channels every ounce of focus, unleashing a massive swirling energy shield that pulses with raw power as the system confirms. Your fortune has increased 2 max. Hand-clad in dark sleeve, deftly releases glowing scrolls, each a near-impossible spell with a refinement success rate of 0.0000012%. Talk about playing with fire on the edge of magic's cruelest odds. The black-haired boy raises his hand, eyes burning with determination, unleashing a wild surge of swirling energy, declaring that when the stakes are this high, failure isn't even an option. His success rate just hit 100%. He locks eyes on his dagger, announcing he's channeling all his power into it. And just like that, the refinement completes flawlessly. This blade's about to get a serious upgrade. The black-haired boy grips his newly perfected dagger, now officially plus 10 max, breaking records as the first to hit this milestone on the Korean server while raking in a cool 5,000 coins. His epic plus 10 dagger achievement is officially immortalized. Tomorrow it's lighting up the Hall of Fame all day, making his name impossible to miss. Black-haired boy unleashes a fierce burst of purple energy, his focus razor-sharp as he dominates the hall with a skill that's as intense as his stare. Now, with that glowing sword in hand, the black-haired boy's confident grin says it all. He's ready to finally wield power that matches his ambition. Meanwhile, the brown-haired girl and the reddish-brown-haired man slump in the darkness, their faces etched with exhaustion as they mutter about surviving the relentless nightmare. Day 10 in hell, and hope's running thin. They finally spark a bonfire with the gathered firewood, flames crackling against the cold, a fragile beacon of warmth and hope in their endless struggle. The brown-haired girl stares in disbelief as the goblin with orange eyes munches on a mushroom, reminding her how desperate they've become, resorting to moss and fungi just to survive. Green-eyed person lies still by the flickering fire, eyes sharp and unblinking, like they're waiting for something or someone to change everything. Green-eyed person lies still by the flickering fire, eyes sharp and unblinking, like they're waiting for something or someone to change everything. The labyrinth twists violently, and a brutal blast slams the pink-haired girl backward, reminding everyone this maze isn't just a maze. It's a deadly trap where every step could be your last. The labyrinth twists violently, and a brutal blast slams the pink-haired girl backward, reminding everyone this maze isn't just a maze. It's a deadly trap where every step could be your last. Brown-haired girl and reddish-brown-haired man huddle close, voices low but tense, realizing if this keeps up, they're not just screwed. They'll be left to rot, tossed aside by that demon once they're done serving its twisted game. Online chatter's buzzing about a ruthless psycho who's been to the 10th floor, formal even facing death. People are scared stiff and telling newcomers to quit while they can, cause messing with him is a death sentence nobody wants. The brown-haired girl scans the eerie blue holograms, her voice sharp. She's desperate for any intel on this mysterious figure everyone's freaking out about. Online chatter blows up. No videos on past Tower Trials players, all locked down like some serious hack. Even Kong Jinhyuk's nowhere to be found. No channel, no subs, just pure solo grind vibes. Online chatter blows up. No videos on past Tower Trials players, all locked down like some serious hack. Even Kong Jinhyuk's nowhere to be found. No channel, no subs, just pure solo grind vibes. Brown-haired woman cuts through the noise, grilling anonymous sources about the Raven Guild's take on the maze, only to get cryptic responses confirming the guild's involved but clueless too. Turns out, intel on this maze is almost non-existent. Brown-haired woman cuts through the noise, grilling anonymous sources about the Raven Guild's take on the maze, only to get cryptic responses confirming the guild's involved but clueless too. Turns out, intel on this maze is almost non-existent. The reddish-brown-haired man presses Hannah for answers on the guild's status, but she's stone cold. No intel, no clues, just dead silence, leaving them both stuck in this frustrating void. Hannah breaks the silence, finally opening up with a hesitant, "I was thinking," as the fire flickers between them, casting shadows on their tense faces while the reddish-brown-haired man listens, waiting for the truth she's been holding back. The black-haired boy lies battered on the cold floor, eyes sharp with resolve as he plots to kill their enemy and bunker down in the stone chamber until backup arrives, convinced it's their only shot to escape this nightmare. The brown-haired woman's mind races, voice tight as she admits the real challenge, figuring out how to kill him, while the man in the gray shirt stands silently, eyes locked and serious, weighing their slim chances in this deadly game. The brown-haired woman's mind races, voice tight as she admits the real challenge, figuring out how to kill him, while the man in the gray shirt stands silently, eyes locked and serious, weighing their slim chances in this deadly game. The black-haired boy's fist rockets down. No hesitation. Let's do it now. Everyone dies when their heads are bashed in, anyway. Ready to finish what's already started. Blood drips from the man with the eye patch's injured hand, but the woman in the pink jacket doesn't hesitate. Gun trained on him, her expression stone cold, ready to pull the trigger if he makes a move. Meanwhile, the person lying face down near the flickering fire stays motionless, the tense silence around them thick with uncertainty. The red-haired man grips his walkie-talkie tight, eyes darting with worry as he tries to break the silence and call for backup. The person in the pink jacket swiftly adjusts their holster, fingers tightening around something hidden, readying for whatever's coming next. Suddenly, the hand owner reveals a glowing salamander, its eerie light pulsing like a signal in the dark. This little creature's about to change the game. Suddenly, the hand owner reveals a glowing salamander, its eerie light pulsing like a signal in the dark. This little creature's about to change the game. The black-haired guy's jaw tightens as he stares down, that single hanging heavy. He knows this isn't some simple choice, and the weight of it's crushing him. The hand owner steps forward, offering a wooden plate stacked with perfectly grilled mushrooms. Simple, but maybe the key to breaking the tension. Black-haired young man glares fiercely as woman in pink jacket tightens her grip on the gun, the room's shadows stretching the silent threat between them. Under the flickering campfire glow, the black-haired guy flips skewers while the red-haired man nervously asks about water, and the woman in pink lowers her gun, the tense moment melting into uneasy conversation. The hand owner carefully holds the plate as the other person drops a glowing mushroom onto it, the eerie light casting shadows in the night. Red-haired man and black-haired young man sit amid the rubble, tense and wary, while the unknown person watches closely, breaking the silence with a simple, "Let's eat." The black-haired young man strikes a match, flickering light briefly cutting through the night as he lights a cigarette, lost in thought. The woman's glowing green eyes flash with a sinister smile as the red-haired man's tense expression breaks. He finally realizes he ate it, and everything just got a whole lot darker. The tension snaps as the plate shatters on the floor, shards and food flying, just before the man with the eye patch gets slammed hard in the face. No warning, no mercy, and now everything's about to explode. The man with the eye patch tightens his grip, choking his opponent while the woman in pink watches coldly, finger twitching near the trigger, her serious eyes daring anyone to step in. The red-haired man crashes to the ground, wind knocked out of him, as the woman in pink stands over him, unwavering and in control, while a shadowy figure calmly adjusts their holster, ready for whatever comes next. The woman in pink jacket storms up, eyes blazing, demanding why the black-haired young man stayed silent when he knew the drink was poisoned, but he just turns away, leaving the tension thick in the dim alley. From the swirling mist, the shadowed man steps forward, his presence chilling the air as if the darkness itself answers to him, leaving everyone wondering what secrets he's hiding. The black-haired young man's voice cuts through the tension, eyes locked on the glowing holographic report as he warns, "Guys, we're running out of time." The woman with glowing green eyes snaps, voice cracking with panic as she mutters, "Looks like he found out," sweat dripping down her face, the sinister smile nowhere to be seen. The black-haired man's voice cuts through the tension, eyes locked on the glowing blue screen as he warns that if the numbers are tampered with, appropriate measures will be taken. No messing around this time. A warning pops up. No misconduct found means the reporter risks a penalty. So will they push forward with the report or back out before it's too late? The woman with glowing green eyes breaks the silence, voice sharp and tense. It's totally obvious, but her sweat betrays the pressure mounting behind that sinister smile. The black-haired young man's smile twists dark as he spits out, "Park Hannah, I'm so disappointed," the weight of those words hanging heavy with betrayal. Without hesitation, the hand owner's finger presses down on yes, sealing a choice that's about to change everything. Suddenly, red warning holograms flash wildly, catching the woman in the pink jacket off guard as panic and shock ripple across her face. Suddenly, red warning holograms flash wildly, catching the woman in the pink jacket off guard as panic and shock ripple across her face. The woman in the pink jacket freezes, eyes flashing as the warning alert blares, while the black-haired guy bites his lip, dread creeping in as the countdown edges closer to 0. Suddenly, users start dropping out of the chat one by one, leaving everyone stunned and scrambling to figure out why Ravenkaka bailed without a word. A harsh warning pops up. Anyone who watched before now can't view videos for a whole month, and if they slip up again, it's a permanent ban with no second chances. Suddenly, the woman in the pink jacket whirls around, eyes wide with shock and anger, as the glaring digital sign drives home the brutal reality of the new rules. The black-haired young man stays eerily calm, eyes fixed ahead, while the woman in the pink jacket recoils, her shock and fury barely contained as the weight of their predicament sinks in. The beast's furious roar cuts through the rain as it swings down with raw power, while the hand owner braces, muscles tensed, ready to either block or dodge the brutal strike. The beast barrels through the hallway like a freight train, eyes blazing with fury, every step shaking the ground as it hunts down its target without a hint of mercy. The black-haired guy steels himself under the night sky, while the brown-haired woman clutches her chest, tension thick as she whispers, "Let's finish up." The black-haired guy steels himself under the night sky, while the brown-haired woman clutches her chest, tension thick as she whispers, "Let's finish up." The black-haired young man straightens up, a sly grin creeping across his face as he confidently declares he's got this under control. Suddenly, the woman in the pink jacket freezes, her eyes wide with fear as she clutches her collar, clearly shaken by what just went down. The words, "You have met the conditions," hit her like a bomb, sweat dripping down her face as panic sets in and she struggles to process what this means for her next move. The black-haired guy's voice cuts cold, telling the brown-haired girl he doesn't need her now, while that eerie, glowing object hovers between them, turning the tension up to 11. The woman in the pink jacket lashes out, shouting with fierce urgency as a blazing energy slash cuts through the air right in front of her. The woman in the pink jacket crashes backward, slammed by a brutal shockwave unleashed by the shadowed man's unseen strike, her gasp barely escaping as the force throws her off balance. The beast-like creature roars, slamming the dark-haired man hard onto the ground, its furious strength on full display as the fight escalates without mercy. Amid the chaos, the brown-haired girl is violently thrown back, crashing through debris and choking smoke, her desperate struggle clear as the room crumbles around her. The black-haired young man fires his gun with fierce determination, energy crackling around him as he warns, "You should be more afraid of me." A sudden surge of power, signaling this fight, is far from over. The beast-like creature lunges with raw fury, slamming the black-haired young man backward with brutal force as a guttural roar shakes the night air. The man with dark hair crashes hard but quickly scrambles up, eyes burning with determination as the beast-like creature charges again, unstoppable and wild. The man with dark hair crashes hard but quickly scrambles up, eyes burning with determination as the beast-like creature charges again, unstoppable and wild. The man with dark hair smashes through the chaos, charging forward with relentless power, his energy tearing through everything in his path. The man with dark hair unleashes a fierce energy slash, striking the beast-like creature hard as he vows to make it suffer the same fate. The beast-like creature roars, spewing a blazing torrent of fire as the light brown-haired figure leaps back just in time, dodging the scorching assault amid the city chaos. Flames rage around the beast-like creature as it crashes down hard, its furious growls barely rising above the inferno consuming the battlefield. Purple energy blasts slam into the beast-like creature, battering its fur-covered body with raw force, cracks forming as it struggles to stay standing against the relentless assault. The beast-like creature roars, barreling forward with savage fury while the man with dark hair tightens his grip on the weapon, ready to strike back in this high-stakes standoff. The black-haired guy narrows his eyes, gripping a glowing knife as he drops some savage wisdom. Muscles make the meat tougher to chew, turning this fight into a gritty lesson on strength and survival. Black-haired guy's smirk cuts through the tension as he coolly declares, "Almost there," like he's just steps away from flipping the whole game on its head. Black-haired guy's smirk cuts through the tension as he coolly declares, "Almost there," like he's just steps away from flipping the whole game on its head. That glowing eye sharpens, burning with untamed rage. This beast isn't just angry, it's ready to unleash chaos. That glowing eye sharpens, burning with untamed rage. This beast isn't just angry, it's ready to unleash chaos. The horned beast charges forward with raw power, but the man with the purple dagger stands his ground, warning, "Don't run around too much," ready to strike with deadly precision. The man with the purple dagger smirks, glowing blade in hand, taunting, "Because of your muscles, you'll get tired sooner," flipping the fight's momentum with his sharp mind and sharper edge. The black-haired fighter locks eyes ahead, grit blazing as he declares, "We're almost there," charging forward despite the purple dagger's looming threat. The horned beast-like figure crashes down with unstoppable force, ready to unleash his final, devastating move, the last card meant to end everything. The horned beast-like figure's eye ignites with fierce energy, detonating a level 10 explosion that shakes the entire labyrinth, turning the battlefield into chaos. The horned beast roars, flames bursting green around its weapon as the black-haired young man tightens his grip on a glowing purple dagger, ready to counterattack in this high-stakes clash. The horned beast roars, flames bursting green around its weapon as the black-haired young man tightens his grip on a glowing purple dagger, ready to counterattack in this high-stakes clash. The horned beast roars to life, eyes blazing red as green energy crackles around him, activating his level 10 explosion skill that cranks up his attack power, speed, and sword mastery by a fierce 30% for 5 intense minutes. The horned beast snarls, furious and deadly, vowing to rip the human apart and scatter their remains throughout the dungeon. His sudden intelligence boost now letting him fully grasp and unleash this brutal threat. The horned beast radiates fierce green energy, declaring this will stop any future intruders, while the man with the purple dagger tightens his grip, steeling himself for the fight that's about to explode. The black-haired young man grips his glowing purple dagger, smirking with newfound confidence in his mana efficiency, daring his opponent with a sharp, "Not bad. Come at me." The horned beast roars, unleashing a savage green energy strike, but the black-haired young man meets it head-on, his purple dagger clashing fiercely as he refuses to back down. Energy crackles as the black-haired young man lunges, his purple dagger slicing through the horned beast's raging green blasts, both locked in a brutal dance of power and will deep underground. The black-haired young man finally stops dodging, unleashing raw energy blasts that slam into the horned beast's green whip, while the worried woman watches, whispering in disbelief at his sudden surge of power. The black-haired young man finally stops dodging, unleashing raw energy blasts that slam into the horned beast's green whip, while the worried woman watches, whispering in disbelief at his sudden surge of power. The worried woman can't shake the thought of that crazy opponent, while the black-haired young man charges forward, unleashing a fierce purple energy attack that's all or nothing. Time slows as the black-haired young man grins, striking with his glowing weapon like he's got the whole fight figured out, confidence that throws off even the toughest opponents. Despite giving it his all, the black-haired young man plummets into defeat. You died, flashing as he grits his teeth, haunted by the endless cycle of struggle where every win just resets the game and nothing ever really changes. Yet deep down he knows this isn't the end. But then he strikes back hard, unleashing a punch fueled by something deeper, because this world, it literally reacts to him, summoning a fierce spectral tiger that mirrors his raw power and unstoppable will. The black-haired young man slashes with his purple dagger, energy bursting from the blade as the arena trembles, his gap stat ticking up, proving every hit pushes him closer to breaking limits no one saw coming. The horned beast roars, shattering rocks and tearing through debris like a force of nature unleashed, its dark fury shaking the battlefield to its core. The man with the purple dagger charges, blade glowing with intensity, as the horned beast snarls back, green energy crackling around its claws, ready to strike in a deadly clash. The black-haired young man slashes fiercely with his glowing purple dagger, but the horned beast scoffs, grabbing him mid-air and taunting. "You're just acting strong, human." The horned beast swings its massive weapon with brutal force, sneering, "In the end, you can barely scratch me," but the man with the purple dagger ducks just in time, eyes sharp and ready to strike back. Black-haired man crashes down amid swirling dust, eyes locked forward, every muscle coiled to unleash his next move. The man with the purple dagger coldly announces the 5-minute limit's up, igniting fury in the horned beast's eyes as it snarls, refusing to back down from this deadly showdown. The horned beast activates explosion, unleashing insane power for 5 minutes. But the catch? After the burst, they're grounded for a full 24 hours. No moves, no fight, just raw consequence burning as hot as the flames around them. Minotaurus hangs suspended, powerless for 24 hours, while the black-haired fighter, glowing with a blue aura, confidently calculates a massive 57 stat points and a 19-level gap he's ready to close. With 20 days left, the black-haired fighter eyes his glowing hologram, confident his grind will hit 100 points, fast enough to close the gap and turn the tables. The worried woman asks if it's over, but the man with the glowing blue object warns the explosions just paused. The threat will return if they switch labyrinths and wait a day, leaving her anxiously questioning if she still has what it takes to survive. The black-haired young man flashes a peace sign, eyes sharp and unyielding, reminding everyone the clock's still ticking. 20 days left, and this fight? Far from over. 20 days later, chaos erupts as a sudden impact shatters the floor and sends debris flying, turning the room into a battleground in an instant. The horned beast-like figure roars, slamming its glowing green weapon down with explosive force, energy crackling wildly as the ground trembles beneath its wrath. Without hesitation, the black-haired young man strikes with a precise right side cut, sharp and swift, instantly boosting his gap stat by 0.015, signaling his growing edge in this fierce battle. The black-haired young man unleashes a relentless continuous lower cut, pushing his gap stat up by another 0.015, now hitting a solid 100 as the horned beast recoils, caught off guard by the rapid assault. The horned beast, eyes blazing with fury, lunges forward with a savage growl, declaring, "I've finally reached my target," ready to turn the fight deadly. The horned beast roars, unleashing a burst of energy, but the man with the purple dagger leaps in, striking hard while questioning why the beast seems to weaken with every hit. Maybe the real weakness is just him. The black-haired young man steps on Cav's chest, eyes locked on the fallen beast as he delivers a cold farewell, sealing the fight with quiet finality. The worried woman steps forward, eyes sharp as she tells the black-haired young man that dealing with him is the last obstacle, then nervously drops that she's recruiting interns for Go and Company, leaving him stunned and confused. The serious man grills the worried woman about her ambition, doubting her interest, but she desperately insists she's always wanted to join the company, earning a rare nod from him as he calls her an enthusiastic applicant, all while the black-haired young man watches, still processing the intense exchange beside the massive, defeated creature. The worried woman stammers through her answer, pitching sympathy and friendliness as her strengths, while the black-haired young man watches, skeptical and clearly doubting if she's really cut out for this. The man steps closer, voice dripping with disappointment as the worried woman insists she'd never betray him. But his piercing question and cold tone leave no room for easy answers. The announcement drops, first intern candidate for Go and Company, and the worried woman's panic spikes as she desperately begs for more time, clearly not ready to face whatever this means. The man with glowing purple eyes admits he's not successful, tension rising as the worried woman, desperate, offers Bram's ring to turn the tide. The worried woman clings to the man's leg, begging for mercy, revealing her brother traded Bram's ring for Korean ginseng with the Chinese side, desperate to save her own life. The black-haired young man's mind races, doubts creeping in as he wonders if Bram's ring has already fallen into the Crow Guild's grasp, shifting the balance of power in this deadly game. Bram's ring isn't just any loot. It boosts movement speed, grants mana resistance, and can even suppress a monster's mana, making it one of the most coveted items on the first floor with 3 powerful options that could turn the tide in any fight. The man with glowing purple eyes activates the Truth's Eye, instantly confirming Park Hana's honesty, then drops the line, "She's officially passed as Go and Company's intern," prompting her relieved, "I survived." The man with glowing purple eyes activates the Truth's Eye, instantly confirming Park Hana's honesty, then drops the line, "She's officially passed as Go and Company's intern," prompting her relieved, "I survived." The worried woman's anxiety spikes as she realizes the moment she's been dreading is here. It's time to write the contract, and she's totally unsure if she can handle it. With fierce resolve, the black-haired young man unleashes his skills. Sympathy, see, igniting a blaze of fire and light energy swirling from his hands, muttering, "Yes, of course you have to," as the city watches his power awaken. Watch as the LV.1 sympathy skill merges seamlessly with the LV.1 fire element, unleashing a powerful fusion that's about to change the game. The man with the glowing blue object claims the stigma of soul, activating its power as a scorching blue energy pulses from his hand, signaling something serious is about to go down. The man with the glowing blue object claims the stigma of soul, activating its power as a scorching blue energy pulses from his hand, signaling something serious is about to go down. The dark, shadowy figure, eyes blazing red and teeth sharp, mocks the worried woman's fear as he summons a glowing blue energy, shattering her naive hope of a simple contract. This game's way more dangerous than she imagined. The dark, shadowy figure, eyes blazing red and teeth sharp, mocks the worried woman's fear as he summons a glowing blue energy, shattering her naive hope of a simple contract. This game's way more dangerous than she imagined. The stigma of soul skill, marked by a blue hex emblem with a hand in flame, is a rare and tough-to-get ability that engraves a powerful stigma onto its target, signaling serious consequences ahead. Brown-haired girl drops to her knees, overwhelmed with relief and joy. "I'm alive. We made it," while black-haired man stays cool, hands in pockets, as they finally conquer the labyrinth's first floor and step out through the grand doors. Brown-haired girl squints at the glowing message, voice shaky. "So this is the reward for all our hardship." Her relief turning into a bittersweet mix of pride and exhaustion after surviving the brutal challenge. The black-haired man calls her in turn, and she snaps back with a fired-up, "Yes, boss," clutching the blue card like it's her new badge of honor, ready to prove she's more than just a rookie in this labyrinth game. The black-haired man demands the item from the hesitant brown-haired girl, then flexes a glowing treasure that's raked in over 10K coins, claiming no other player even comes close to his score. The black-haired man drops a brutal ultimatum: fetch Braham's ring in 3 days, then slashes it to 2, while the brown-haired girl's protests barely register against his unwavering confidence and raw power. The glowing red handprint burns onto the brown-haired girl's face like a brand, but despite the fear flickering in her eyes, she steels herself and vows, "Yes, I'll try to get it somehow." The glowing red handprint burns onto the brown-haired girl's face like a brand, but despite the fear flickering in her eyes, she steels herself and vows, "Yes, I'll try to get it somehow." Dagon Guild stands tall as Korea's top guild, carrying the weight of global expectations while guilds in the US, Europe, and Japan falter, making Korea the new powerhouse everyone's watching. The brown-haired girl hesitates, eyes heavy with worry as the black-haired man watches silently, while the news blares a challenge. Do you still want to stay silent about them? Pushing her closer to a truth she can no longer ignore. News Anchor 1 lays it down. Why rely on outside help when Dagon Guild's got the power to handle things solo? Meanwhile, the man in the dark suit stays stone-faced, like he's hiding something beneath that calm exterior. The black-haired man calmly plots a strike on the third-floor boss next month, weighing the rush against the regret he might carry later. Calm, confident, but clearly calculating every move. The black-haired man faces the towering labyrinth, acknowledging the impatience around him, but warning against rushing to seize its vast resources without a plan. Each floor gives you 90 days to conquer, no rush to hit the second or third floors yet, because while the basics start easy, the difficulty spikes hard as you climb higher. The black-haired man in the white shirt stands firm as deadly foes close in. The golden armored figure with blue flames, the dark cloaked figure radiating purple, a massive dragon, and brutal orc-like warriors, reminding us that once you hit the world, the pressure and danger only get realer. No second chances for humanity's fall. First move is to gather every scrap of intel on what went down this past month before making the next play. Black-haired man in sleeveless shirt knows digging through fake news won't cut it. He needs a trusted source from his past to snag the real info and make the next move count. Scrolling through the search results, he zeroes in on that spiked mace, questioning if it's a one-of-a-kind weapon or if someone else holds the same dangerous edge. Lee Tae-min drops the bomb. He's the human bee, while that dark, fiery bee figure lurks behind him, flames flickering as he stokes the tension with a lighter's blaze. The fierce woman with red gloves steps up, dropping her alias, Nuclear Fist, and her real name, Yuyanawa, locking eyes with that confident woman in the dark jacket while the pain man watches from behind. The black-haired man recalls how, 2 years ago, the Tower of Trials was filled with old players who didn't quite fit the game's rules, hinting at deeper secrets behind their presence. The woman with boxing gloves breaks the silence, surprised their first meeting happens like this, as the dark bee figure's sinister smile and the black-haired man's unreadable gaze set the tense stage with that odd floral swim ring adding a strange twist. Just like that, Lee Tae-min snags the Machine Monarch title, granting him insane large-scale combat power, but with a brutal mana drain that keeps things balanced. Meanwhile, Yuyanawa coolly sips her drink, her stats and skills flashing, revealing a deadly blend of precision and power that could shake up the whole competition. That red fist emblem screams a rare melee combat skill, and judging by their matching levels, these two hunters probably teamed up, making their combo way more dangerous than it looks. The black-haired man breaks down the copying condition. Only longtime teammates who've climbed to the 20th floor together can steal Lee Tae-min's flexibility skill, proving that deep bonds in the labyrinth unlock deadly advantages. The brown-haired man pushes the black-haired man to step up, but Jin Hyuk stammers his name nervously, clearly unready to face whatever challenge lies ahead. The black-haired man clears his throat, dropping the bomb. His old nickname was Youngapon, and he can't help but cringe over the ID he made 11 years ago, questioning why he ever went with it. The man in the brown coat casually drops that he's 27 and used to be a Paprika TV BJ, sparking surprise from the black-haired man who admits he tuned in sometimes, turning their coffee chat into a low-key nostalgia trip over cake and stories. The man in the brown coat admits he's quit whatever it was, urging the black-haired man to open up since they haven't crossed paths in the game for a day or two, setting the stage for some real talk beyond the labyrinth. The black-haired man and the confident woman with long black hair settle into the cozy cafe vibe, both ready to drop the formal act and actually talk. No masks, no walls, just real conversation flowing easy. The man in the dark suit flashes a knowing smile, admitting he's tired of being used and ready to pick his allies, while the brown-haired woman with the bun crosses her arms, smirking like she's been through the same game and isn't about to lose again. The man in the dark suit flashes a knowing smile, admitting he's tired of being used and ready to pick his allies, while the brown-haired woman with the bun crosses her arms, smirking like she's been through the same game and isn't about to lose again. The black-haired man breaks down the global chessboard of guild moves and streaming trends, analyzing how alliances shift and broadcasters shape the underground scene, all while manipulating a holographic screen that maps the pulse of this sprawling, high-stakes world. The black-haired man breaks down the global chessboard of guild moves and streaming trends, analyzing how alliances shift and broadcasters shape the underground scene, all while manipulating a holographic screen that maps the pulse of this sprawling, high-stakes world. The dark, cloaked figure peels back their hood, red smoke curling ominously as they drop the bomb about mine. A ruthless gang snatching people and churning out illicit coin factories, backed by shadowy, red-eyed enforcers lurking in the flames. Brown-haired man zeroes in, grilling black-haired guy about his month-long disappearance, only to find out the dude skipped any kind of testing. Wait, testing for what? The tension's real, and questions are piling up faster than the spoons hitting that blue ice cream. Cruising through city traffic, the man in the brown coat breaks down the tower trial's sudden rise, and how from the second floor up, deaths started stacking hard, turning the challenge into a deadly game no one's walking away from. Only the ones who clear the test get to climb higher, because the Korea Awakening Association locked down the tower, blocking everyone else from stepping foot past that gate. She leans in, pointing to the barcode tattooed on her wrist, breaking down how you hand over the authentication code. No guesswork, just straight-up access control. She leans in, pointing to the barcode tattooed on her wrist, breaking down how you hand over the authentication code. No guesswork, just straight-up access control. The smirking man's already plotting to hijack the association's system, flipping their game on its head as the city's towering skyscraper looms, a silent stage for his next move. The smirking man's already plotting to hijack the association's system, flipping their game on its head as the city's towering skyscraper looms, a silent stage for his next move. But if you score above that dreaded F, expect top guilds and even the country itself to come knocking. Only 3 types of people make it to the test site, and that red-haired guy with a glowing sword? Yeah, he's the center of all that attention. The man with the red headband is practically begging for a decent grade, hands clenched tight, while the woman with short dark hair bites her thumb, both desperate to avoid a crushing failure. The black-haired man in the black jacket watches silently as the media swarm, cameras ready to capture every move, while the buzz about which guild will tackle the A-class challenge fills the air. The young man with glasses freezes mid-shot, eyes wide as something unexpected unfolds, while the woman with short dark hair and the serious black-haired man exchange tense glances, sensing the weight of the moment. Park Ha-na and Park Ha-jin step into the spotlight, their names echoing through the crowd as the next qualified survivors and rising stars of the Black Crow Guild, the tension and anticipation crackling in the air. Just as the black-haired man starts to turn, a shout cuts through the chaos. Wait! Look behind you, throwing everything into sudden, heart-pounding suspense. Enter Kim Ki-tae, the man with sunglasses and an unstoppable aura straight from the Fighting Abbey Guild. Everyone's eyes locked, and trust me, you don't want to blink now. Black-haired man yanks off his glasses, clearly annoyed, questioning why the place is packed like a livestock market. Testing dogs and cows. Seriously? Brown-haired man stays calm, noting everyone's chasing quick cash, but time's tight, so black-haired man orders to clear the line fast before reporters lose patience. Black-haired man locks eyes, laying it down straight. Your siblings risked everything coming here, so don't screw up today, or you already know the fallout. The brown-haired woman tries to steady the vibe, telling the guy not to stress, and he nods, forcing a smile, ready to face whatever's coming next. The men in black suits cut through the crowd like a storm, barking orders to clear the way, their serious expressions leaving no room for hesitation as they push forward with unstoppable purpose. The man in the black suit with sunglasses snaps at the group, demanding they move immediately, his anger cutting through the tense silence as the man in the brown coat, the black-haired man, and the woman with long black hair watch, unshaken and quietly calculating their next move. The black-haired man stands firm, calmly refusing to move and insisting he's waiting his turn, while the man in the brown coat shifts nervously and the brown-haired woman's anger simmers, brewing tension as they all clash over who gets priority in the labyrinth. The brown-haired man suddenly snaps, grabbing someone's arm and shouting he'll handle things himself, cutting through the tense standoff with unexpected force while the man in the dark suit watches silently. The unknown hand yanks the black-haired man by the collar, but he stays cool, warning calmly that whoever's behind this is making a big mistake and still has a chance to back off before things get messy. The man in gray jacket loses it, pointing wildly and threatening death, while the calm man in black jacket stays unfazed, hands in pockets as the confident man in brown coat tries to hold back the angry outburst, and someone murmurs about Park Ha-jin and Park Ha-na's mysterious Appa. The black-haired man's eyes flash as he activates Eyes of Truth, instantly revealing his level and skills on a glowing status screen that cuts through the chaos like a spotlight on raw power. Brown-haired man locks eyes with his silent observer, breaking the tension with a sharp demand. Why are you staring at me like that? The man with glowing eyes flashes a sinister smile, claiming his many eyes mean no one slips past his watch, while the black jacket guy calmly explains their surveillance trap is foolproof. The brown-haired man stands firm despite the threat, and the worried woman steps in, asking what just went down. The brown-haired woman gasps in fear as the brown-haired man points accusingly at the black-haired guy with the glowing red eye, shouting that this punk is seriously crazy, while the sinister smirk only widens. The black-haired man's grip snaps tight around the unknown wrist, that sinister smile daring anyone to challenge him as tension spikes instantly. Brown-haired man grits his teeth, clutching his injured finger, furious and shouting curses at the calm MC who sips water like he owns the night, while light purple-haired and blue-haired men watch in stunned silence. Brown-haired man roars, "You fucking insect!" swinging his injured arm wildly, desperate to fight back despite the pain burning through him. The MC's voice cuts through the chaos, commanding, "Everyone get back. You'll get caught up in it," as the man with glasses and blonde woman freeze, wide-eyed and terrified, clutching a water bottle like it's their last hope. The brown-haired man, pain and rage fueling him, snatches a water bottle and hurls it hard, drenching his own face with a sharp KUT, as if awakening himself to fight through the pain. With eyes blazing red, the brown-haired man unleashes a brutal kick that sends the calm MC crashing through the air, breaking his composed facade for the first time. The brown-haired man stumbles, clutching his injured leg in agony as the MC stays eerily calm, while the crowd erupts in shocked whispers, questioning if it was a twisted step or something else that brought him down. Suddenly, the brown-haired woman freezes, eyes wide with fear as she spots a man she never expected, her whispered shock cutting through the tense hush of the shadowy crowd around her. The MC's calm command slices through the chaos. Leave it at that, while the two suited men flank him silently, backing his unshakable authority without question. The MC locks eyes with the suited group, activating his LV.1 Eye of Truth, his silent power sending a clear warning. This fight with Father Kim Kitai just got real. The dark-haired man tries to unleash his skill, but the system slaps him down. No activation because he's under level 20, and that level gap just shut his power off cold. The MC stays calm, dropping a low-key bomb. Didn't realize the troublesome guy brought his nanny along, but hey, he's a handful for a reason, useful enough to tolerate. The MC smirks, calling out the real reason the troublesome guy's useful, supplying Korean ginseng to China, making his chaos a profitable game. The shocked man's mind races, struggling to process the ginseng connection as the crowd's stunned silence echoes his disbelief, while the man in the blue suit stays eerily calm and the brown-haired woman's fear spikes. The MC breaks the tense silence, challenging their focus on the details with a sharp question about handling the side effects of Korean ginseng, his calm, yet commanding presence cutting through the uncertainty. Kim Ki-tae unleashes his LV.3 blackout barrier, shrouding the night in an eerie darkness as the MC and dark-haired man lock eyes, tension crackling, while the light purple-haired man rushes in desperately shouting Hyung. The man with glowing eyes emerges, radiating pure menace as the crowd gasps. The woman in the red and black top urgently calls out Jin-hyuk Appa, and the man in the brown jacket watches silently, tension thickening under the neon-lit cityscape. The dark-haired man demands proof about the dungeon exchange, eyes locked on the glowing barrier as the calm MC coolly questions his knowledge, the tension crackling like electricity in the dim, claustrophobic space. He reveals Korean ginseng, hyped as the ultimate stamina and magic power booster, making it clear this isn't just any herb, but a game-changer in the dungeon grind. But here's the catch. Eat it raw, and boom, instant magic poisoning hits hard, leaving the purple-haired guy sweating and struggling as that glowing poison symbol screams danger. But here's the catch. Eat it raw, and boom, instant magic poisoning hits hard, leaving the purple-haired guy sweating and struggling as that glowing poison symbol screams danger. The MC lays out the rare ingredients: Corazian's extract, moonlight stone, and the elusive mandragora root, and offers to reveal their hidden locations, testing the dark-haired man's trust with a sharp question. Well, do you trust me a little more now? The dark-haired man's mind races, sweat dripping as he connects the dots. This matches the guild's intel and the explorer's reports, but realizing the truth behind this man's identity hits harder than expected. The MC stays cool, dropping a deal that shakes the room, while the masked figure, eyes sharp, agrees to play along, because sometimes survival means playing the game on someone else's terms. The MC presses his glowing sword forward, eyes burning with warning, while the brown-haired man raises his shield defiantly, snarling that any trick won't slide, tension crackling as they brace for a fight neither plans to lose. The MC's face tightens with frustration as he lays it out. Asking for control over their top-earning dungeons isn't just bold, it's a damn steep price to pay. The MC's face tightens with frustration as he lays it out. Asking for control over their top-earning dungeons isn't just bold, it's a damn steep price to pay. The shocked man's eyes widen, anger bubbling beneath the surface, but the dark-haired man just smirks, cool and collected, insisting, "You're misunderstanding. I'm the one offering the opportunity here," flipping the power dynamic with icy confidence. The shocked man's eyes widen, anger bubbling beneath the surface, but the dark-haired man just smirks, cool and collected, insisting, "You're misunderstanding. I'm the one offering the opportunity here," flipping the power dynamic with icy confidence. The brown-haired man crashes back, pain and rage etched on his face, while the black-haired woman and gray-haired man lock eyes, bracing for the next move as chaos erupts around them, and the man in the blue suit watches coolly from the sidelines. The brown-haired man crashes back, pain and rage etched on his face, while the black-haired woman and gray-haired man lock eyes, bracing for the next move as chaos erupts around them, and the man in the blue suit watches coolly from the sidelines. The blackout barrier drops, and the MC steps forward with steady confidence, his calm voice cutting through the tension as he tells Yanawa to calm down, ready to take control of the chaos unfolding on the city streets. The MC raises his hands calmly, assuring the black-haired woman and gray-haired man that he's fine despite their frantic concerns and readiness to fight, his steady voice cutting through their panic with a cool, "I'm really all right." The dark-haired man turns his back, walking away with cold resolve, while the injured brown-haired man reaches out desperately, pleading, "He was a better listener than I thought. Please wait. Are you just going to let them go?" Tension thick as the crowd watches in stunned silence. Clutching his chest, the brown-haired man snarls, "If you give me one more chance, I'll go all out," before a brutal grip clamps down on his throat, cutting him off with a harsh cook. The man in the dark jacket hoists the brown-haired guy by his collar, coldly warning, "You're not someone the likes of you can handle. Act out again, and I'll make you regret it." "Got it." The brown-haired man gasps, struggling as the black-sleeved hand tightens around his throat, desperation and fear flashing in his eyes as he barely manages to choke out, "Why, yes, I understand." The brown-haired man collapses, clutching his side in pain as the man in the dark jacket and the man in the suit walk away calmly, leaving the shocked crowd behind, whispering, "What the hell happened inside the barrier?" Burning with rage and pain, the brown-haired man's eyes blaze red as he snarls a deadly vow. No matter what it takes, he's coming for the one who humiliated him. With the conditions met, the skill shallow breathing D is snatched, granting a minor boost in stamina recovery. Though saving it means risking failure, but the grind just got real. MC smirks like he owns the place while the shadowy figure lurks behind, red eyes burning. As he strides into the stunned crowd, whispers ripple. Everyone's caught off guard, daring him to take the test that could change everything. MC eyes the ranking screen, nods with a hint of amusement at the intern's top score, then coolly calls out for the next challenger like it's just another day at the office. The man in the dark jacket lays down the rules. Strike the magic stone with anything, weapon, ability, whatever, to measure your true potential, setting the stage for a test that's all about raw power and skill. The man in the dark jacket lays down the rules. Strike the magic stone with anything, weapon, ability, whatever, to measure your true potential, setting the stage for a test that's all about raw power and skill. Man with glasses coolly orders the man in the long coat to start, eyes locked on the glowing crystals as the dagger-wielding figure steps forward, ready to unleash whatever power those mysterious shards hold. Man with glasses coolly orders the man in the long coat to start, eyes locked on the glowing crystals as the dagger-wielding figure steps forward, ready to unleash whatever power those mysterious shards hold. Man with glasses, now radiating an intense red aura, warns that mid-grade and higher magic stones barely faze normal people, raising the stakes with a serious, no-nonsense tone. The man in the dark jacket's eyes blaze red as he cranks his rift stat to max, dagger glowing with raw energy, while the man with glasses gasps, realizing this fight just reached a whole new level. Time to see if all that labyrinth pain actually paid off. The man in the dark jacket's eyes blaze red as he cranks his rift stat to max, dagger glowing with raw energy, while the man with glasses gasps, realizing this fight just reached a whole new level. Time to see if all that labyrinth pain actually paid off. Man with glasses, usually calm, is stunned as he reveals most contestants are disqualified for not meeting the magic power threshold set by the magic stone. Turns out, raw strength isn't enough here. Then shocker hits. The magic stone cracks in half, a move no one's ever pulled, signaling someone just blasted into S-rank territory with insane magic power, turning the whole competition on its head. Then shocker hits. The magic stone cracks in half, a move no one's ever pulled, signaling someone just blasted into S-rank territory with insane magic power, turning the whole competition on its head. The MC drops a bomb, insisting the report gets postponed by a whole week, leaving the gray-haired man visibly thrown, struggling to wrap his head around this unexpected demand. The MC drops a bomb, insisting the report gets postponed by a whole week, leaving the gray-haired man visibly thrown, struggling to wrap his head around this unexpected demand. The MC grips a glowing knife, dropping a chilling truth. The threat in front of you beats any distant law, leaving the fearful guy drenched in sweat. Realizing this lesson just got dangerously real. The MC grips a glowing knife, dropping a chilling truth. The threat in front of you beats any distant law, leaving the fearful guy drenched in sweat. Realizing this lesson just got dangerously real. In turn, Park Hannah steps forward, holding out a glowing ring like it's the key to everything, coolly announcing she's got exactly what was asked for, raising the stakes big time for the brown-haired woman caught off guard. The MC casually reveals two glowing orbs, cool as ice, while the brown-haired woman, desperate and furious, demands he remove something. He just raises his hands, smirks, and says he'll judge everything based on her next move. Gray-haired man and black-haired woman both freeze, disbelief written all over their faces as they hear the shocking news. Someone they expected to be top tier is actually stuck at a pitiful F rank, sparking confusion and a scramble to make sense of the unexpected truth. Gray-haired man and black-haired woman both freeze, disbelief written all over their faces as they hear the shocking news. Someone they expected to be top tier is actually stuck at a pitiful F rank, sparking confusion and a scramble to make sense of the unexpected truth. The black-haired woman insists the MC must face the dungeon for the second test, but he stays cool, telling her to focus on climbing the tower while he searches for the dungeon. Just as the gray-haired man approaches, tension thickening around the orange car. The MC leans back, arms crossed, mentally breaking down the tests ahead. First, a magic power ranking, then the real challenge starts with a second test for those who pass. The large orc and smiling orc lay down the rules. Clear a dungeon in the Tower of Trials. No difficulty limits. So most pick goblin or orc-filled floors to prove their strength and survive the chaos ahead. The winged queen lounges on her throne of bones, revealing that the ruins she's targeting are the only ones on the first floor. An infamous, untouched domain no one has ever cleared, even since the Tower of Trials game dropped 11 years ago and its brutal reality emerged. The young man with black hair arrives at the eerie Hall of the Depraved, a place he hasn't seen in ages, his slight smile and hefty yellow backpack hinting he's ready to face whatever twisted trials await among the floating rocks and ancient ruins. The young man with black hair arrives at the eerie Hall of the Depraved, a place he hasn't seen in ages, his slight smile and hefty yellow backpack hinting he's ready to face whatever twisted trials await among the floating rocks and ancient ruins. Amid the towering ruins scattered across the mountain, a massive waterfall crashes down the cliffside, while jagged rocks hover mysteriously in the air, setting the stage for whatever trials lie ahead. Since solo runs are off-limits for an F rank, the porter with black hair and his crew strap on heavy yellow boxes, blending in as guild-registered porters to sneak into the forest ruins under the watchful roots. The porter with bald head asks Kongsher what brings him here, and Kongsher admits that making a living takes serious cash, something everyone can relate to as they adjust their yellow boxes and gear up. Kongsher pulls up a photo of his wife and kids, saying he's here to support them, while the porter with black hair, lugging his big yellow backpack, can't help but worry. Guys like Kongsher usually don't make it out alive. The two, dressed in black and dark pants, tread carefully through the woods, grimly agreeing that as F ranks, one slip could mean game over. Plus, no gadgets or ambulances can save him out here. MC tries to calm Porter with bald head, promising that at least the people here will get to go back home, but Porter with bald head can't hide a surprise, clearly not expecting that. A booming laugh echoes off the rocky cliff as the unseen voice mocks the tension, while the porter with black hair dryly thanks them, noting their surprising energy compared to most these days. A scroll sealed with wax unveils the high-stakes raid quest. First attack on Ruins Number 1, difficulty S, tasked to defeat the boss monster and reclaim the throne buried deep in the ruins. The porters finally reach the ruins, dropping their yellow boxes with black straps as their leader calls for a break. Everyone's gearing up, tension building before the raid kicks off. The glowing chest labeled Special Goods pops up, announcing a perk for the first to conquer the tower, and MC's eyes narrow, realizing this raid just got a whole lot more serious. The perk activates, instantly boosting luck and adaptability by 10 points each, leveling up the game and raising the stakes for everyone trying to survive the tower. The Cold Heart skill kicks in, locking an icy composure under pressure but chilling out your human emotions, turning emotional heat into frosty control. Porter with black hair just triggered Monopolize, a passive skill that unlocks the ultimate prize if he can snatch the very last reward. Talk about playing to win, no holding back. MC's eyes go wild as he looks up, mind racing. This whole situation? Yeah, it's fucking crazy, and he's not backing down. MC's eyes go wild as he looks up, mind racing. This whole situation? Yeah, it's fucking crazy, and he's not backing down. As the glowing symbol blasts radiant energy into the sky, the young man with black hair, the man with short light brown hair, and the person with long light hair tied back watch intently. Tension thick in the air like something big is about to drop. The man in armor winces, battling a pounding headache, but stays sharp, asking about the head count. And when the man with short black hair confirms all 50 made it safely, he confidently insists there's no way they could have messed up thanks to the magic they used. The men scope out the Bally Guild's main attack squad, debating if these are really the heavy hitters, and one points out the captain, young but clearly leading the charge. Song Chunhwa, the man in armor with black hair, activates his Eye of True Skill, orders the squad to organize ranks on the move, and pushes everyone to follow the advance party. Time to get moving. MC just found out the copy condition means he has to win Song Chunhwa's loyalty during this raid. And yeah, he's not thrilled. This is way harder than he expected. MC's mind races as he realizes the captain they're up against, a leader from one of the top 10 guilds, might not be as unbeatable as everyone hyped. He's sizing up the man in armor with black hair, try to figure out how to turn this to his advantage. The guy with the fake mustache sighs, grudgingly accepting the chaos as long as MC doesn't slow him down, muttering about how wild things have gotten. Floating debris swirls around the shattered stone pillars and crumbling archways, the ruins standing silent under the bright sky as if caught in the aftermath of some powerful force. The robed figure grips a staff glowing with a red gem, warning the group that darkness ahead is deadly and orders everyone to stick close, stressing that losing their way means no rescue. The robed figure with staff channels a faint red glow from their staff, activating the level 1 Illuminate spell to light their treacherous path. The man with black hair on right side and the man with bald head stand amid shattered stone and fallen beams, eyes scanning the wreckage as they absorb the sheer scale of the destruction, whispering, "How tremendous! So this is the ruins." MC and the team tread carefully through the shadowy ruins, eyeing the smashed monsters left by the advance party and noting the crushing force that took them down, all while the heavy, eerie vibe of the place makes every step feel like a trap waiting to snap shut. MC appears carrying yellow boxes, catching everyone's attention as the man in armor and Song Chunhwa exchange tense words about the surprisingly low casualties, while MC silently sizes up the eerie aftermath of the brutal fight littered with smashed monsters. Song Sichun can't believe the guild attack power was way stronger than expected, while nearby, one guy in a blue vest abruptly grabs another, demanding he start handing out water and ice, leaving the other dude totally confused. The man with black hair on right side reminds himself he's still just a porter while the other guy confidently assigns him to handle the foreigners, despite the porter's low-key phobia of them. The man in golden armor with helmet questions the meaning behind the cross symbol on the other's armor, while the observer with black hair leans in, intrigued by the mysterious emblem and a hint of foreigners stirring up tension. The Zion Guild finally shows up, their emblem, a shield with a cross and 2 swords, marking them as Europe's elite, instantly shifting the vibe with their arrival. MC spots a short figure in the group, hesitating but curious. He shakes his cup of ice, wondering if maybe this time, making friends won't be so impossible. MC offers Song Sichun a cup of iced water, breaking the tension with a simple "good work," and the knight's grateful "thank you" hints at a fragile but real connection forming. The man in golden armor with white, Cape quietly activates his LV.1 communion skill, sparking a subtle but clear shift as the target starts to see him in a slightly better light. The man in golden armor with white cape stands calm and confident, his presence undeniable, while MC's eyes widen in shock as realization hits. This person is... The youngest daughter of the Larinia family steps forward, wielding an ornate sword and a decorative shield emblazoned with her aristocratic house's heraldic crest, her presence demanding respect and hinting at a legacy wrapped in power and prestige. Teresa du Larinia stands ready, her sword gleaming as the legendary saintess who saved Amsterdam from ruin, a versatile powerhouse known across Europe for her divine attack, defense, and healing skills. The person with long light hair tied back sips from a cup, realizing why there were no casualties. Clearly, only someone skilled enough to handle the undead with precision would dare raid the ruins instead of facing the third-floor boss head-on. The person with long light hair tied back casually activates the LV.1 Eye of True skill while sipping from a mug, remarking how refreshing it feels. The skill activation totally flops because of a level gap, making him freak out. Could she really be over level 20? But then a message pops up saying luck and adaptability stats just canceled out that level difference. Porter with black hair activates Eye of Truth at level 2, instantly spotting the target's stats, while a stronger skill fizzles out from the level gap. Talk about turning a fail into a win. MC's eyes light up as the glowing stat window pops up, excitement bursting out. Finally, the hidden info is crystal clear. The blonde woman with blue eyes smiles gently as the text reveals the catch. To copy her skill, you must save a top 100 player like Teresa from a life-threatening situation. MC studies the glowing screen, impressed by Teresa's insane stats and her tough class quest, realizing why everyone's hype about her. Just as a female knight thanks him, and he nods back, ready for whatever's next. MC clutches the glowing blessing of the stars, gratitude flooding him as he admits he's the one truly thankful for being chosen to wield the strongest innate ability paladins can get. The armored woman grips her sword tight, eyes steeled as she wrestles with the impossible, how to put herself in danger and still find a way out alive. A desperate voice cuts through the ancient silence, urgently yelling, "Chunghua Hyung, come here, hurry," as tension thickens against the cold stone walls. Song Sichun Hwa rushes forward, heart pounding, disbelief and sweat mixing as he mutters, "I can't believe it." The group's battered and bruised, scattered among the wreckage, voices tense as one warns, "We're in trouble, Hyung. We hit the Guardian Sentry. It's too late." The young man with black hair watches silently, weighing the grim reality sinking in around them. The Guardians have spotted them. Red symbols flare to life as a countdown starts ticking down from 9:59, and a harsh voice breaks the silence with a sharp, "Seichaiti." The sleeping bomb, this ancient ruined security system, stays dormant until triggered by an outsider, then wakes up with a vengeance, summoning Guardians to unleash hell. So basically, just don't mess with it unless you want chaos. Song Sichun Hwa freaks out, yelling about some idiot who touched the forbidden spot and triggered the sleeping bomb. But it's too late to blame anyone now. The chaos is already unfolding. The man with black hair on right side clenches his teeth, sweat dripping down as he warns, "It's too late. We only have 10 minutes left," the clock ticking louder with every second. Song Chunhwa's eye flashes red with fierce resolve, knowing charging the Guardian now is pure suicide. Half their team, maybe more, won't make it out alive. As the plan to evacuate non-combatants within 10 minutes is laid out, a fierce voice cuts through with a sharp and no, shutting down any hope of retreat and ramping up the tension. Man shouting upside down screams with fierce determination, refusing to accept defeat and reminding everyone how hard it was to finally become a captain, insisting this fight isn't over yet. Song Sichun Hwa pushes deeper into the fortress, ignoring his companion's frantic warnings about no backup and enemies closing in, determined to face whatever's inside head-on. Song Sichun Hwa cuts through the bickering, snapping that he'll take full responsibility and they don't need backup. Just follow him and trust he can handle whatever's waiting. Teresa, the saintess, steps into the light, her calm presence cutting through the chaos as everyone turns their attention to her. Song Sichun Hwa stands firm, announcing the Guardians have awakened, sparking tense chatter about Bally's next move, while the man with black hair on right side brushes off the worry, confident no massive guild acts without a solid plan. The young man with blonde hair flexes confidence, insisting all solo players just need to follow the captain's orders, convinced the guild should have wiped out the Guardians by now. Just as Jinty's caught off guard by this massive mechanical hand looming over him, a brutal impact explodes nearby, someone urgently yelling his name like it's do or die. Song Sichun Hwa grips his sword tight, sweat dripping as two men close in, his eyes wide with fear. He knows this fight might be his last. Song Sichun Hwa grips his sword tight, sweat dripping as two men close in, his eyes wide with fear. He knows this fight might be his last.